good morning to everybody viewing. This is the start of the third T20 between Sri Lanka and New Zealand at the Sara Oval in Colombo. Hot and humid conditions here in Colombo for both teams. New Zealand leading the series 2-0 after two comfortable wins in the first and second T20. This will be their final chance to end this six-match tour on a high. What will happen in the game, we'll have to wait and see. Sri Lanka will be wanting to make a comeback after two dominant performances by the White Ferns in the T20 series, but they'll be happy with that win in the ODI series where they managed to win their very first ODI win and ODI series win against the White Ferns. There are the results from the tour so far. Sri Lanka winning the first and the third ODI to register their very first series win against the White Ferns, but unfortunately not able to bring that form in the T20s in Colombo, losing both games. First one by 5 wickets and the second by 8 wickets. Susie Bates, the star in both games, getting a half century in the second T20 and 43 in the first one. Today, third T20I coming up. Sri Lanka still have one last chance to register their very first T20 victory against the White Ferns. As mentioned before, Sri Lanka have never beaten New Zealand in T20 cricket. So the tally stands at 12-0 between the two sides. This will be another chance, as I mentioned before. They need to get things right if they are to do well in this game. New Zealand showed how well they had prepared for this tour in the first two games, looked comfortable with the spinning conditions and were able to get there comfortably in the end. This time, maybe something different awaits, with Sri Lanka also looking to register that very first win. Talking about Sri Lanka's fortunes and the conditions, we got Gamini Pereira with the pitch report.
Good morning everyone. Partly cloudy, but the good news is the sun has just crept through the clouds, so it's pretty bright and sunny. There is some rain in the horizon, but let's keep our fingers crossed that we will have a full game. We have already reached 28 degrees and it's pretty muggy, I can tell you, you can already feel it. We have a wind 15 kilometers per hour coming from the scoreboard end, from the scoreboard side to the dressing room side, so that will improve the players' comfort somewhat. Let's have a look at this one. We are on a new pitch today. There's a bit more grass in the middle compared to the last one. And also what I've noticed is there are a few dark patches, so that means there's a bit more moisture. It's pretty hard. Where it matters for the spinners, it's all bare. So because of the moisture content, you're going to get a bit of bite off the surface. Fast bowlers, well, we saw Leah Tahu mixing her length as well as her pace, and she was a force to reckon with in that last game. You will have to have those attributes in your skill set if you're going to be a successful bowler on a flat pitch like this. Well, other important thing that I want to tell you, I'm facing the R4 flat end. To my right, 63 yards boundary, but this side is a lot shorter. It's 58. So even a miss hit is going to clear that side. So what are you going to do when you win the toss? It has been the pattern so far that whenever you win the toss, you ask the opposition to bat first, but I reckon that will be the case today as well.
So Gamini Pereira says there's a little bit of moisture in the pitch and there might be some extra spin. So that will be interesting to see how Sri Lanka and New Zealand cope. So far, the White Ferns definitely have looked the more comfortable side with the conditions. Sri Lankan batters struggling a little bit with the extra turn and bounce. New Zealand too bringing plenty of options in the spin bowling department. There you go, look at the pitch. What will it hold for this game? Plenty of spin we could expect. So that's a look at the pitch. We know what the captains have wanted to do in the previous couple of games. Let's find out what happens in the third T20. Parvez Maharouf is out there with the toss. Yeah, beg your pardon. We have a couple of minutes remaining for the toss. Earlier today, the Sri Lankan team was seen warming up. I have with me in the commentary box Gamini Pereira, who's just finished the pitch report. Gamini, welcome.
Good morning, ST. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, interesting contest this. And like I said, the pitch report, ST, this was the last game. Pereira was very impressive for Sri Lanka, 118 for 6 in their 20 overs. Sri Lanka rely a lot on their skipper, Atapattu. She was unfortunately run out. But there were some contributions from the middle order. Susie Bates, as ever, always finds a way to make a contribution, 52. And Amelia Kerr, very consistent again. Sri Lankan spinners couldn't make an impact on a friendly surface, really. I think that would have been an area where they would have sat down and discussed. If they want to make some inroads, ST, their spinners will have to come to the party, no doubt.
Yeah, they haven't had the impact that Sri Lanka would have expected in this series, but you have to give credit to the White Ferns. They have batted really well, used the conditions well earlier today. Sri Lankan team seen warming up. Will there be any changes to the side? That will be the big question. The series already conceded to New Zealand. A couple of youngsters in that squad. Chamari Atapattu, once again, her wicket is going to be a key one for the White Ferns, Gamini.
I think it's just been the story so far. Before she came into the second game, the T20, she had 4 innings, 2 golden ducks and 200. So everyone thought that if she was going to face the second ball, she was going to go and get 100. But unfortunately, she was run out. But yes, lot depends on her. A lot of batters trying to bat around her. Yeah, her wicket is pretty much, to me, is 50% really. But when you consider the conditions, ST, we have seen the pitchers at Gaul. The ball was coming on a bit more, and Sri Lankan batters looked more comfortable. But as the wickets are getting slower, I don't think the batters have been able to adjust as well. Where the White Ferns are very experienced and they've got quality batters in their top order, so they've had the wood over the Sri Lankan top order. Parvez Maharouf is out there with the toss.
Although the series winners has been decided, lot to play for both these teams. For New Zealand, it's a clean sweep, first bilateral series in Sri Lanka, and for Sri Lanka, it's all about pride. I got the 2 captains with me, Chamari Atapattu, Sophie Devine and Michelle Pereira. Chamari, you got the coin? Tails is the call. Heads is the call. The smile says it all. Chamari, what are you going to do?
We are going ball first.
It's a tough series. Won the one-day series 2-1, and the series have all been lost. A lot to play for when it comes to pride.
Actually, this series is very important, and this game is very important because of the points table and the ICC rankings. And we give some opportunities for the youngsters because next year we have T20 World Cup. So we are looking forward to playing good cricket today.
Have you made any changes from the last game?
Yeah, we have 2 changes. Imesha Dulani back into the side and Vishmi out of the squad, and Kavya Kavindi, young fast bowler, back into the side.
All the best to you.
Thank you very much.
Sophie, you lost the first toss in a T20 series. Would you have bowled with me first as well?
No, we're actually looking to have a bet, so it's worked out well for both teams.
Absolutely. And first bilateral series win in Sri Lanka, played absolutely well. What difference was what you guys did from the ODI series to T20?
Oh, look, I think if we're being completely honest, when we played 50 over cricket, we actually did really well in the one game. It's just that the games got shortened and we were probably a little bit slow to adapt and we got taken apart by Chamari, whereas the T20 cricket, we know we're playing 20 overs, so we focused on that. So really good opportunity for us today to have a bat first and try post a really competitive total.
Made any changes from the last game?
Yeah, we've made 3 changes. So Hannah Rowe, Molly Penfold and Izzy Gaze come into the side.
All the best to you.
Cool, thank you.
So news from out here is that Sri Lanka has won the toss and elected to field first.
So changes for both sides coming to this third T20. New Zealand with 3 and Sri Lanka handing a debut to Imesha Dulani with Lauder bat. That's the New Zealand team for today's game. Wicketkeeper Easy Gaze coming in for Bezed and Holt, Bates, Kerr, Divine, Green, Plimmer, Halliday, Hannah Rowe coming back in, Penfold also in, Leah Tahuhu after that 4-wicket haul, just taking a much deserved rest. She's played all 5 games in this series. Also Leigh Kasparek not playing today. Sri Lanka 2 changes in their side. Kavya Kavindi and Imesha Dulani coming into the team in place of Vishmi Gunaratne and Udeshika Prabodhini. Prabodhini also played all 5 games that have been completed so far, so another rest for her. Vishmi Gunaratne looked good in the first T20, didn't get much in the second one, was involved in that crucial run out with Chamari Atapattu. Joined now in the commentary box by Andrew Fernando. Andrew, what do you think of the changes to both sides?
Morning, Estelle. Morning, viewers. Yeah, I mean, it's a chance for, with the series now being dead, especially for New Zealand, chance for them to try out a few other players who haven't had an opportunity on the tour so far, to have an experience of these conditions. We did wonder in the second match what Vishmi Gunaratne's fate would be in the third one. The run out that she was involved in was quite unusual, but I would have liked to see them kind of persist with her a little bit longer. She did show some promise in that first ODI. She went with Chamari Atapattu and played a decent supporting role that allowed Sri Lanka to get over the line. She has showed sparks of promise in the T20 series as well, without quite capitalizing. I think she's, being of her age, she's 17 years old, would have liked to see her have another game here.
There you go, the cap presentation before the game to Imesha Dulani. She made her ODI debut against Bangladesh in April in the previous series. Comes from Ratkama, played for Devapati Raja College. So she's had a lot of success in the schools arena for Devapati Raja College. So she'll want to replicate that kind of form and that kind of winning mentality for Sri Lanka as well. Be interesting to see where she does bat in the batting order with her replacing Gunaratne. I don't think she'll be at the top of the order. We might see someone like Hasini Pereira open instead. Kavya Kavindi will bowl the first delivery of the third T20.
Back of the length first up. Estelle, what should Sri Lanka, first time in this T20 series that they're bowling first, what kinds of things would you like to see them achieve in this game? They're obviously trying a couple of new players as well.
Yeah, I think you have to expect New Zealand to get up to a total of at least 120 to 140. And if they're able to do that, then it's going to be tough on Sri Lanka. Ideally, they'd want Atapattu to get runs. She hasn't done so in the T20 series so far. Was the crucial player in the ODI series and the ODI win. So they want her to get runs, but at the same time, her partners, those are the players they'll be looking at. T20 World Cup coming up next year. There's plenty of time remaining for that competition, but they want the likes of Harshita Samaravikrama, Hasini Pereira to get some runs, kind of build their confidence going into big tournaments.
And a different pitch for this match. Also, we've seen the surface for the previous game be quite slow and low, but this is a brand new surface for this match. Down the track from Susie Bates, but she can't beat that mid-off fielder. We've seen that a lot from the from the New Zealand players, they're used to defeats. I think even more than the Sri Lanka players, they've been trying to get down the track, trying to get the bowlers to change their lengths. We've seen that right through the series. Bates, probably that strategy's prime proponent. She's probably spent the most amount of time in the middle during the T20 series.
Yeah, she's been phenomenal, hasn't she? Just looked so comfortable in the middle and has brought all her experience to the fore in this series. Interesting fact also brought to my attention by Twitter user Hypercost. Suzie Bates has made a T20I half century in every region or country she's played in. So that tells you a lot about her experience and her ability to adapt to conditions.
Yeah, absolutely, and just an enormously experienced player. I think by far, by a significant distance, the most experienced player on the field across both teams. But she comes down the track, and the length wasn't there, but she struck that beautifully through square leg for 4. She adjusted midway through the shot. I think she was looking for something that was a bit fuller, but Kavinda pitched it a little bit short, and that was the first boundary. That's the first over for New Zealand. They're 4 for none.
So New Zealand 4 for 1 after the first over. Boundary to end the over from Suzie Bates. Izzy Gaze on the other end. Her first game on this tour. Played the Under-19 World Cup earlier this year alongside Fran Jonas and Georgia Plimmer.
So watch that Suzie Bates shot again. She was. It's not hard to adjust midway through the stroke, but again, that's the kind of form that Bates is in. As you know, she Fernando to bowl her first delivery of the match to Izzy Gaze. Gaze just 10 ODIs, 10 T20s to her name.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Andrew, 10 matches under her belt, only 3 innings, so this will be her 4th. She wants to make the most of the opportunity. She's 19 years of age.
Yeah, replaces Bezuidenhout, who's been decent behind the stumps this T20 series at least, but didn't have a lot in the way of runs right through the tour. Gazes off the mark in her second delivery. Yeah, we've seen in all 3 matches so far, or certainly in the first 2, the Bates' strategy has been just to play out a few balls, get herself in, make sure she's seeing it correctly. She doesn't tee off straight away. Though, as I say that, she's down the track and she's slamming that one over mid-on for 4. Beautiful connection again, and a shot full of confidence from Suzie Bates. Gets herself her second boundary.
For a moment there, Nilakshi De Silva did feel like she might have a chance. That's well over her head. On your point, Andrew, about Bates taking her time. In both the previous games, New Zealand were chasing and not chasing significant scores, 106 and 118. So she just had a little bit of extra time to get herself in. Here, they will be setting a total. And if they've learned from the ODIs, they wouldn't want to be too conservative.
Yeah, they almost want Chamariatapattu to proof their score, don't they? If Chamariatapattu has one of her spectacular innings, we've seen 2 of them on tour so far, both in the ODIs. They want their score to be beyond even the reach of an innings like that. Sri Lanka batting order. I don't think it's no real secret that the others kind of contribute and play supporting roles to Atapattu. That's generally been the way that they've gone about it. And
Dot ball to end the over for Sri Lanka. New Zealand 9 for no loss. So Bates with 2 boundaries. She's on 8 of 10 deliveries. New Zealand 9 for no loss. Just on that last shot she played over the long on mid-on fielder. Ahead of the series, New Zealand did prepare on turning tracks, and I think one of their biggest strategies were to play with the spin or play straight, and that's what we've seen in the series so far. A lot of boundaries going over the fielders straight down the pitch.
yeah, absolutely. And they've been good at, both Bates and Kerr, who we've seen a lot of during the T20 series as well, at, not getting stuck in that middle zone to spinners. Either you come forward and you kill the spin, or you go back and you play it off the pitch. And they've been really judicious with their footwork, and that's what's allowed the kind of run scoring that we've seen Bates and Kerr have in the series.
First big shot from easy gaze. Not able to find the gap. That's good fielding from Kavisha Dilhari.
Yeah, Dilhari's been, had a lot of work to do, as you said, a lot of shots down the ground from New Zealand, and she's been in that mid-off area through the power play, and she's made a few good stops through the course of the series.
Slip being taken away by Atapattu for Bates. She's been put in that short fine leg region where we did see a lot of shots going in the previous game. A lot of lap sweeps used by both Kerr and Bates.
That's wide down leg side, however, and it's gone right through the keeper, Anushka Sanjeevani, and to the boundary for 4. That's poor cricket from Sri Lanka.
Yeah, you wonder if taking the slip out kind of worked on Kavindi's mind as well. She looked to go a lot straighter than she had done right through the first couple of overs that she's bowled.
Yeah.
Missed by Anushka Sanjeevani, and 5 wides.
Through her legs.
Yeah, for the wide.
Yeah, I thought Sanjeevani should have got down to that one, though that wasn't a great effort from her.
Susie Bates' record 145 matches, a best of 124. Highest run scorer in women's T20s in the world. It's been a decent start from Kavya Kavindi so far. Apart from that wide in the previous delivery, she's managed to keep the runs to a minimum boundary in the first over. She'll want to end this over well. She didn't do it in the first over. She just lost her line a little bit.
Yeah, and she's getting a bit of movement through there, a bit of in-swing to the right-hander. That part of that swing was what allowed that first ball to go down the leg side. As Grace, Gaze attempts a lap sweep there. That was a bit too far towards offside, I think.
Yeah, field changing immediately. The slip coming out again, moving to that short fine leg region. That's one area that Sri Lanka can really block up. There's a lot of runs that went through there in the second T20.
And New Zealand have been good at this. When there's been a missed shot or a missed opportunity, they're good. They've been good at rotating the strike and making sure that the dot balls don't build up. Something that perhaps the Sri Lankan batting order hasn't done quite so well. Just dropping it into the gaps in the infield and sprinting through for a single. Just keeping the innings, the momentum of the innings going.
in the air for just a fraction of a second, but no opportunity on that occasion for a catch. 3 overs done, Sri Lanka 17 for 0.
Looks like they're playing an extra delivery. There's, I think it's supposed to be an over by our count, but there's perhaps the umpires. Last ball of the over struck towards long leg for a single.
So these are the two teams that are playing today. Sri Lanka 2 changes, Kavya Kavindi and Imesha Dulani coming in for Vishpi Gudaratne and Udeshika Prabodhini. New Zealand making 3 changes, Molly Penfold, Hannah Rowe and Isabella Gaze coming in for Bernadine Bezedenhout, Liata Huhu and who was it? Andrew?
Leigh Kasparek, I think.
Yeah, that's right. Kasparek also missing out. She played just the 2 T20s in this series. So the extra pace being brought by New Zealand in this game.
Sugandhika Kumari into the attack with her left arm spin.
Sugandhika Kumari has been one of Sri Lanka's key wicket takers with the new ball. With her left arm spin, bowls well in the power play. Just keeps things simple. Quick single on that occasion. It's good running. Like you mentioned in the previous over, Andrew, New Zealand have been really good at that, rotating the strike when they are unable to get the boundaries away.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of spin early on in the innings from both sides. Actually, I think it's a reflection of the conditions, but we haven't seen too many bowlers really turn it that much. Aside from Amelia Kerr, the New Zealand leg spinner who puts a lot of revs on the ball, we haven't seen while it's been slow, it hasn't been a huge challenge for the batters in terms of lateral movement off the pitch. Gaze just making her way into this innings. Off 8 now, not a boundary to her name yet. Wonder if she's just feeling the need to try and hit out a big one. Happy to try and rotate the strike again, but there's no run there to square leg.
Yeah, not a great throw from Imesha Dulani, but I think she did well really to get to the ball quickly, put that little bit of doubt in the batter's mind.
Yeah, she got rid of it quickly. You see the ball flying back, you really bail out of your shots. Oh, that's a fantastic straight drive from Gaze. Her first boundary, down the track, got to the pitch nicely, and just hit through the line. Beautifully struck. Didn't go too far from the bowler, but she wasn't able to get to it. That's 4 overs gone, New Zealand 25 for no loss.
Aggression is that we come to expect.
The Ashes is about to witness a new game plan.
It's a record chase for England in Test cricket.
This June, will the English strike back?
We're desperate to get it back.
Watch cricket's arch rivals, England and Australia, lock horns in the Ashes, only on Sony Sports Network.
New Zealand off to a good start after losing the toss, 26 for no loss after 4. Izzy Gaze getting her first boundary of the game in the previous over. Once again, it's good to see. Looked to go straight down the ground, timed it so well. Long on field, they had no chance.
Inoshi Fernando, and there's a slip in for Bates. Sri Lanka now feeling the need to get that first breakthrough. They don't want to get through the power play without having made that breakthrough. But Bates down the track and whips it through mid-wicket for 4. Again, just beautiful timing and not a lot of turn on offer for Inoshi Fernando. She just hits through that ball well in front of the mid-wicket fielder inside the ring.
Yeah, once again, playing with the spin, not too much of a risk for Susie Bates. Key part though was that she was able to find the gap between those two fielders in the infield and outfield.
That's the third boundary for Susie Bates. Looking good again, 15 off 16 balls, a smart start. Brings a sweep out this time, and the mid-wicket fielder can't quite get to it, which will pick up a couple.
Yeah, it feels like Sri Lanka have been pretty reactive so far in the game. Boundary from Bates through mid-wicket, and they bring the sweeper cover in, drop square leg back. Now they've switched things up, mid-wicket dropping back and square leg coming up into the circle.
Down the pitch again, but the length isn't there. Bates just knocks that out into the covers.
Fernando has been, I think, a good addition to the Sri Lankan bowling lineup, has bowled with a lot of control in the games that she's played so far. Picked up 3 for 17 in the first T20, just to put a little bit of pressure on the White Ferns. Fortunately, not enough on the board for Sri Lanka on that occasion to really defend it.
Yeah, it was her flight really in that first match that got her quite a few, those 3 wickets. Beats the batters in the air rather than off the surface. Doesn't, as we've seen, just gentle turn from her. Down the track again. And that's gone through Kavisha Dilhari at mid-off and onto the boundary. We were saying how well Kavisha Dilhari has done so far in the series, but a mistake from her on that occasion. New Zealand moved to 37 for no loss after 5 overs.
For no loss after 5 overs. Sri Lanka winning the toss, bowling first. Don't think things have gone on to plan so far. Here, White Ferns batters have been quite good. Bates and Gaze have been quite busy out there. This was the last over, straight down the ground. Punching towards mid-on for a single. Gamini, not a good start for Sri Lanka.
Good morning, Maha. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, again the superiority from Susie Bates. Feature of her batting in this series, in this tour, Maha, has been her feet. Not afraid to come and meet the ball early and use the crease to go back as well. She's applying a lot of pressure on this Sri Lankan spinners department. Gaze playing for the first time today. Her performance is not shabby at all. 12 off 12 so far.
What impressed me mostly is how busy these ladies have been. And they've been quite proactive. He's a single leg. The umpire says no. Generally, direct hits are quite close. I think there's no damage done for White Ferns. They have been quite proactive. When the boundaries aren't there to be hit, they're quite busy picking up those singles, hence putting the pressure back on the Sri Lankan spinners.
And not only that, I think they are putting a lot of pressure on the Sri Lankan fielders as well. This is closer than you think, I'll tell you. Yeah, cheers. That's a good technique. See how she's grounding her bat a long way out from the line. Yeah, back to that point. Bottom edge. That's unlucky. It's going to go for 4. Very productive over this for the White Ferns. We mentioned about the pressure on the bowlers. Like I said, the pressure on the fielders. The ability to control their hand speed and how to play with the dead weight. When the fielder starts approaching, anticipating that single, they push it with the second or third gear. So that are the areas that the Sri Lankan batters can polish as well.
Definitely with Susie Bates' experience, so much to learn for the Sri Lankan ladies who are, when it comes to experience, quite an experienced team. Overall, I think White Ferns in these T20 series have been magnificent, almost faultless, isn't it? Whether they batted or bowled first, they've been magnificent. One day series is a different story. Chamari Yatapattu took the game away from the White Ferns. Unfortunately, in this T20 series, has not hit the stabs in the air for a moment. All of us thought that's going to be caught at mid-off, but in the end, no damage done. 6 overs gone, 43 for no loss. Six overs gone. That's the end of the power play. Got a good one for New Zealand after being put into bat by Chamari Yatapattu for the first time, winning a toss in this series.
Dedunu De Silva, the on-field umpire. Yeah, you mentioned, Maha, it's interesting. The first time the White Ferns are going to bat first in this T20 series. The second power play, the 7th over. It's going to be Inuka Ranavira, one of the most experienced bowlers in the Sri Lankan lineup. So far in this series, Maha, the average score is around that runner ball mark, 120. I think these two batters have laid a very good platform to get much more than that. This is one. Oh, that's a very poor option taken by Gaze. New bowler for the very first time and quicker through the air. It was right in a block hole, so that's certainly not the length you want to play a horizontal sweep shot, I'll tell you. But credit to Ranavira. We mentioned time and time again, Maha, that the Sri Lankan spinners have not been able to do what they do best, and the White Fern batters have not allowed them to do it. There you are, not a lot of feet. Just trying to stand and play that. You need to go down on that one to get that knee bent in order to get close to the ball. But good contribution from her, 13 or 14. New Zealand lose their first, 43 for 1. Amelia Kerr, the new batter. She's also one of these players so consistent. Finds a way to make a contribution, whether it's bat in hand or the ball in hand. She's been such a revelation in this series, whether it's the ODIs or the T20s. So these are the two batters that have given Sri Lanka bowlers some headaches, Maha. So you need to get one of these out very quickly.
From the last wicket. Inuka Ranavira has become the highest wicket taker for Sri Lanka. Shashikala Siriwardena was on 77 when Inuka took Susie Bates' wicket in the last game. She became the highest at 78 wickets, and today just dismissed Gaze and became 79 wickets. Brilliant. She's been a long servant for Sri Lanka. Been a steady bowler in the middle overs, and this is the partnership that Sri Lanka will be wanting to break. Bates and Amelia Kerr. He's done a lot of damage for the Sri Lankan team.
Yamaha, I think you would agree that if in the T20 format or the ODIs, that bounce. If you can average a wicket per game, that's a fair stat, don't you think?
I think when it comes to T20 cricket, it's all about looking at the economy rate, isn't it? If the economy rate is good, I think any team will have one or two bowlers who will go for runs, but if they can pick up wickets, the bowlers who do the job when it comes to containing, I think that's a good combination to have. With Inoka, I feel she's a wicket-taking bowler. I mean, you can have the leverage of giving a little bit of runs unless the other bowlers do well. This was a premeditated reverse sweep gone all wrong for Gaze. Clean bowled.
Just tucks behind. Oh, another misfield. At least a couple. Will they take the arm on? No, they won't. Just a couple. Pretty much when you mentioned about premeditated reverse sweeps particularly, you need to pick the ball out of the hand and you need to get into a position before the ball is released actually. But very first ball from a new bowler, it's a dangerous thing to do really. Plenty of dot balls in the last 18 deliveries. Very unusual for the White Ferns. But these two are normally very proactive. There you are, dropped it in front. Very poor. Oh, needed a direct hit then. Picked it up in one motion. Chamariyatapattu had short extra cover, but didn't have the accuracy with the throw. 46 for 1 after 7.
For 1 out of 7 overs, 6 boundaries, 13 singles. They've been quite busy. The bowling has been quite decent, but just that I think the batsmanship, beg your pardon, has been really good by the White Ferns. Chamariyatapattu into the attack. 3 fielders patrolling the boundary. Long on, mid-wicket deep square leg and a deep cover point in the offside. Remember, only 4 fielders permitted after the power play in women's cricket.
Usually Atapattu select her top order spinners at the start of the innings, but obviously she's not a big turner of the ball, Maha. She relies on that like a darting type, isn't she? As you can see, the way she's holding the ball, her first finger and the second finger across the seam. But these two, this is the dangerous period for the Sri Lankans. These two can take this game away very quickly. They've got the tremendous ability to be proactive and play the field at times. Again, beautifully played. It wasn't a bad ball by any means, just around that midland leg. Transferred her weight onto the back foot very quickly, and the wrist.
Both these batters have been superb right throughout the series. It's quite visible, isn't it? The way the batting, the way the ball's been striking in the middle of the bat, making those singles when the opportunity is there to put it away for a boundary. There's some outside the off stump, pretty unlucky there. Susie Bates was trying to get that gap between cover point and short third man. Timing was good. And Chamariyatapattu slowing things down, not giving any pace. I think it's probably the right thing to do. Fast you bowl in this pitch, I just feel it's easy to bat and the ball comes onto the bat. So as long as you bowl slowly, I think batsman got to make the pace, which is going to be hard work.
So 2 dot balls. Going for a big hit down the ground, looking to get the elevation over the bowler's head, but it was a bit too full. Good over from Atapattu, just a 3 off. 49 for 1 after 8. When it comes to the P. Saramuthu Oval, Maha, you played here many times, and the point I was trying to make is this has been a wicket generally support both parties, don't they? Both batting and bowling, there's always bid for the bowlers. But when it comes to spinners, some have made this pitch on their own, guys like Muralidharan, Rangana Hera. There were a few that you have played with and against here, and they were quite a force to reckon with.
Absolutely. Pisara Oval always prepares sporting wickets, as you said. Fast bowlers in the morning have something on offer for the batters who would grind them in. We score runs as well. With spinners, if they bowl good areas for a longer period, there are wickets to be taken as well. But lots of cricket being played in this season, hence the pitches around looking tired. There's grass, and that happens in Sri Lanka, isn't it? Number of matches being played right through the year. The groundsmen find really hard to maintain this. So I think that's where the challenge is for not only Pisara Oval, but all the first-class grounds and stadiums in Sri Lanka.
There's a very good battle taking place here. Ranavira versus Susie Bates. I thought in that last game, that previous single brought the White Ferns total up to 50. The previous game as well, Ranavira picked up the wicket of Susie Bates after she got a 50, but that was a gimme. Face tie full toss. Susie Bates would have wanted more on that one.
There's a juicy full toss missed out there. For a second I was looking at the tennis courts whether it can go there, but in the end just couldn't get the middle of the bat, and there's a bit of fielding. Definitely saved 3 runs there.
There is no such thing called dead rubbers these days. Every game is important in terms of developing your team to future tournaments, where the rankings, where you stand in the ladder. Although New Zealand has already got the series under their belt, this is that length, bit too full to play a horizontal bat shot. Lucky to get a bottom edge. Susie Bates 53 for 1 after 9.
Aggression is that we come to expect.
The Ashes is about to witness a new game plan.
It's a record chase for England in Test cricket.
This too will the English strike back.
We're desperate to get it back.
Watch cricket's arch rivals, England and Australia, lock horns in the Ashes, only on Sony Sports Network.
The point that you try to make, Garmin, regarding nowadays there's no dead rubbers, absolutely agree with you. For Sri Lanka, it's a matter of pride. And for the White Ferns, it's a bilateral series. This is the first time both these countries play a bilateral series in Sri Lanka. I'm pretty sure Sophie Devine would be wanting to go back home with a series. That's a magnificent shot by Susie Bates. Shamari Atapattu slowing things down, but Susie Bates came down the track, took it on full, and hammered through mid-on for a boundary.
On your screen, this might look very simple for a batter to put that full toss away, but she was nowhere near the ball. She came down the line, really. The ball was outside the off stump. She had to use her hands. Not only she got close to the ball, but the placement was immaculate, wasn't it? It was only, 10 yards away from that long on fielder. She had absolutely no chance of stopping that one. 7th 4 in the innings. Sri Lankans, things are looking ominous for them. If these two go and bat for the next 5 or 6 overs, they'll be looking at chasing 7 or 8 runs per over, I'll tell you.
Yeah, the toss, skipper Sophie Devine, when I asked her if she had won the toss, what she would have done, she said they're going to go bat first. So I reckon after winning the series, giving the batters plenty of time to master those runs. And now, I guess the White Ferns are well on their way to score something close to 140, 150. If these two batters keep going, anything is possible.
So boundary, the first ball of the over, puts lots of pressure on the bowler. See, that's the experience. See how she used her feet and got it on the full the previous one. She hung on the back with the second one. So playing with the bowler's mind, Susie, mind you, she's got years of experience behind her. This time she comes out. Has she got the placement? Kavisha Dilhari gets across and keeps it down to 1.
A battle of cat and mouse between Chamari Atapattu and Susie Bates. First delivery, plenty of air. Second, fired in, and third again. Sliding it, and probably Susie Bates expecting it. Came down the track like a flash. Just couldn't get the placement right.
That's very well played. There was a risk involved, but perfect execution. This is why it's so difficult to contain these batters, Maha. They've got the ability to play the angles, play the field. Amelia, on that occasion, she exactly anticipated that that ball is going to be quicker, and she took the option of scooping it behind.
Smart option being taken. Field remained the same. Fine leg remains vacant. Beautifully played. This time Chamari Atapattu was quite quick through the offside. And Amelia Kerr, placement, timing, brilliant. Brings up a boundary.
Yeah, you mentioned brilliant. There's nothing short of that one. It's again, after playing a scoop, I think the bowler would have had that in her mind. So she was looking to put it wider outside the stumps. She was on the back foot and got the gap she wanted. It was brilliant. Timing and placement. These two batters have shown some amazing ability to bat on these subcontinent tracks. How to use your feet, how to use your wrist. There's a change in the field. Short mid wicket goes to 45 on the leg. This time she plays the field, playing exactly that direction, the short mid wicket, and looking for the second. Just a 1. Halfway mark. 65 for 1, White Ferns.
The time has come, once again, for the Warriors to battle in pursuit of supremacy. Dialog Schools Rugby League. The battle for supremacy starts in June.
Season 1, Danuma. Season 2, Charitavaliya. Season 3, Krida Viplava.
New Zealand 65 for 1 after 10 overs. Susie Bates once again in the runs. She's been fantastic in this T20 series so far.
Yeah, 52 in the last game, and you can see her strokes. That first boundary through square leg, using her feet to go down the ground frequently. And that's really been a feature of her batting right through the series. I think, you can see all her boundaries apart from perhaps that one. She's making sure she's getting the batters to change the length. That was the dismissal of Izzy Gaze.
Yeah, this will be a crucial partnership for the White Ferns. Susie Bates and Amelia Kerr have been among the runs right throughout. Even in the ODIs, Kerr got a century in that second game. Divine to come. Those are the 3 batters that Sri Lanka will want to see the back of. If not, looks like they'll be chasing at least 150 to 160.
And that's That's caught at mid-off. Kerr went down the track, tried to lift it over that fielder, but couldn't beat her, and Sugandhika Kumari picks up her first wicket of the match.
Yeah, Kerr trying to go over the top straight once again, but she's only able to find Kavisha Dilhari at mid-off. So that's a good field placing also, I think, for Matapattu. Didn't really push the fielders back despite the power play being done. Amelia Kerr not able to get the elevation she needed on that occasion. So crucial breakthrough once again. It's the left arm spin this time. Sugandhika Kumari, she's been one of the better bowlers for Sri Lanka right throughout this tour.
Yeah, it was a vital partnership for Sri Lanka to break, wasn't it? These two put on 59 together in the previous T20I, and they were looking good once again. But right after the break, right after a little bit of there was a little bit of a lapse in concentration from Kerr, as we see Sophie Devine come to the crease, incredibly experienced player as well, 121 matches. Just 26 more runs to break that 300 mark in T20 internationals. Here's Sugandhika Kumari again. Starts off with an aggressive shot down to long on, where there's cover for Sri Lanka.
Yeah, the two most experienced batters for New Zealand out in the middle, both the two top run scorers in T20 cricket for the White Ferns.
Yeah, Sri Lanka will feel like they can break this partnership, that they have a chance of restricting New Zealand to a score that they might feel is gettable. They haven't, New Zealand, while they've batted well and they've conserved wickets so far, they haven't been going at a massive clip, just 67 after in the 11th over.
Yeah, and if you look at the rest of the batting lineup, Maddie Green, Georgia Plimmer haven't had too many opportunities out in the middle, even in the ODIs. I think Green had a good innings in the first ODI, but other than that, they haven't spent much time out in the middle. So it's not going to be easy for them. But first, Sri Lanka have to get through these two. Bates in particular has been very difficult to budge in the T20 series.
Down the track again, and she beats the long on fielder. Just shows you what kind of touch she's in. She didn't seem to need a ball that's right up by her feet. It dropped a little bit short from Sugandhika Kumari, but Bates good enough to smash that through long on for 4. Big spaces out into the leg side now for Bates to exploit. She's striking the ball very sweetly. New Zealand 73 for 2 after 11 overs.
Aggression is what we come to expect.
The Ashes is about to witness a new game plan.
It's a record chase for England in Test cricket.
This June, will the English strike back?
We're desperate to get it back.
Watch cricket's arch rivals, England and Australia, lock horns in the Ashes, only on Sony Sports Network.
To this White Ferns innings, Kavisha Dilhari now into the attack for the first time in this game.
Oh, and she's bowled her first ball. That's fantastic from Kavisha Dilhari. Susie Bates, the key woman in this New Zealand batting order, and she was going so well, but came down the track one time too many on this occasion. Almost yorked herself, I think, with that one, and the ball turned back into the pitch, into the wickets. If it hadn't struck the wicket, she might have been a stumping candidate as well, but Dilhari doesn't miss. Yeah, a bit of flight and a little bit of just a hint of drift in the air. That's, I think, what did for Bates in the end. It came a bit too close to her, closer to her than she expected. She expected that to pitch a little bit further towards the offside, and she's got to go for a run at ball 37. Another solid innings for her.
Season 1, Danuma. Season 2, Charitavaliya. Season 3, Krida Viplava.
Maddie Green's a new batter for New Zealand. 80 matches for Green, an average of 15.8. Fair to say she'll be looking to improve on those numbers. So Sri Lanka have two new batters in both fairly experienced. So Sophie Devine more so than Green, but they have an opportunity here. They can put the foot down at the moment. They have a chance to restrict New Zealand to something that they perhaps won't be happy with.
Yeah, Green, this is just the fourth time she's playing, batting out there in this tour. That's the dismissal once again. Just had to reach for it in the end, didn't she, Susie Bates? She'll be disappointed. She would have wanted to kick on. First opportunity to bat first. Get a big score under her name. Not to be today.
Yeah, she was a long way down the track. A long way down the track. She looked back and thought maybe she needs to get back in case there's a stumping, but ball hit the top of middle stump, and that was that. I'll give Kavisha Dilhari plenty of confidence too for the rest of her spell. It was her first delivery that did for Bates.
Yeah, just on Green, as I said, just the fourth time she's out there with the bat in this tour. Got 38 not out in the first ODI back in Gaul, but hasn't really made any runs since then. 5 in both of the other innings that she's played, so she'll have a big role to play here too. Experienced batter, just hasn't had too many opportunities out there in the middle.
New Zealand will now be looking to Devine to play that, to hold that innings together. They've had Susie Bates, batting, for a much more substantial portion of the innings in the last 2 T20s. But Devine now, as the experienced player and as the captain, perhaps needs to take on that role, needs to guide her team into those death overs without too much more damage, while keeping the strike rotating and the scoreboard ticking over.
Nicely played by Maddie Green, but just a single. That's the end of the 12th over. New Zealand now 77 for 3.
Aggression is that we come to expect.
The Ashes is about to witness a new game plan.
It's a record chase for England in Test cricket.
This June, will the English strike back?
We're desperate to get it back.
Watch cricket's arch rivals, England and Australia, lock horns in the Ashes, only on Sony Sports Network.
Bowling figures for Sri Lanka so far. Inuka Ranavira, just fantastic with the ball today. 2 overs, 7 runs. The wicket of Easy Gaze, a crucial first wicket for Sri Lanka, giving them that opening. Apart from that, Sugantika Kumari also picking up 1 wicket. It's gone for 21 though. Ranavira back into the attack now, replacing Sugantika Kumari. So Sri Lanka do sense a little bit of an opportunity. If they can get Devine here, I think that'll really help them get New Zealand down to a total that they can potentially chase down.
Yeah, tense period of the game. 2 new batters, neither of them have a boundary. Green coming in without a lot of runs. Devine, of course, did have did have some form coming in from the ODIs. Sri Lanka's most experienced bowler and highest ever T20 wicket taker, Ranavira, in try and make that next breakthrough. What do you feel would be a good total here, Estelle? It doesn't seem to be as slow and as low a pitch as the one we saw for the first T20s.
Yeah, I think we spoke about it in our earlier stint as well. It all depends on Atapattu, doesn't it? As soon as she gets going, even a total like 160 might not be enough. That's in the air and put down by the long on fielder. How crucial and how costly is that going to be? Sophie Devine trying to go over the top. Inoshi Fernando on that occasion went straight to her. Unfortunately not able to hold on.
Yeah, it was struck firmly, but she didn't have a lot of work to do. Just had a few paces to take to her right into the breadbasket, but just wasn't able to hold on. Not sure what happened there. You know, maybe took her eyes off it at the last second. It seems it's certainly the kind of catch you expect to take at this level.
Yeah, Ranavira just applauding the fielder. But I'm sure she'll be really disappointed with that effort, because she would know that that's a crucial wicket for Sri Lanka.
Yeah, the wicket of Devine there would really have put some serious pressure on that dressing room, that New Zealand dressing room. As we watch that drop catch again.
That is the shorter boundary for Devine, but she wasn't able to get the elevation she needed. How costly is that going to be?
Just didn't have her hands in the right place. I think it hit the inside of her right wrist and then just bobbled out. That's the end of the 13th over. New Zealand 83 for 3.
Mm-hmm.
New Zealand 83 for 3 in 13 overs. Sophie Devine 6 off 6, Maddie Green 6 off 7. Crucial period of play, I think. With this pair out there in the middle, still new to the crease.
Papare again, as we see Green use that reverse sweep that New Zealand have been using quite a bit of through the course of the series.
No one in the deep in that region, and I think Hasini Pereira did really well at backward point. Just anticipated that shot really well, moved to her left and was able to cut off what could have been at least 2 runs.
It's a big shot from Devine. That's what she can do. And New Zealand and Sri Lanka already being made to rue the drop catch from the last over. That was just extremely firmly struck. Gets down on one knee and pulls out that big slug sweep.
Yeah, hitting with the spin again. Did mention in the previous over that she was hitting to the shorter side of the ground. But when she middles it, it doesn't matter how short the boundaries are. She's able to clear it comfortably now.
Change of angle from Kavish Dilhari. She decides to go around the wicket, perhaps to guard against that slog sweep a little bit. But doesn't matter, she goes down the ground, over long on this time. Again, just the power in her strokes. The long on fielder was right under it, but it sailed well over her head. Devine really turning things on now after a couple of quiet overs, rebuilding after the loss of Bates. 2 big sixes in this in this one Dilhari over. And it's not done yet.
Yeah, and again, going with the spin, not too much of a risk involved, knowing that she can clear that boundary.
Just needs to get out of the over without too much more damage now, Dilhari. Not the most experienced of Sri Lanka's bowlers, but a promising one. 2 sixes off the first 3 balls. Just needs to get through the next 2 balls cheaply.
That's the first 6 of the over, well over the boundary line. Then she went straighter, lot flatter on that occasion, but again, clearing the boundary by quite a distance.
Green down the track now and can't make too much out of that full toss from Dilhari.
Yeah, Green's job could definitely be to just hand the strike over to Sophie Devine. At least until like the 17th or 18th over, where she will also look to go for it. Sri Lanka will need a big breakthrough here if once again they're looking in danger of conceding about 150. Single to end the 14th over, New Zealand 99 for 3.
The time has come, once again, for the Warriors to battle in pursuit of supremacy. Dialog Schools Rugby League. The battle for supremacy starts in June.
The projected score for New Zealand now, the current rate, they'll get to 141. But if Devine is at the crease at the 20th over, you'd expect them to go well beyond that.
Yeah, and that projection's jumped up quite a bit since that last over. 16 runs off that over from Dilhari. 2 sixes and 4 singles. Yes, Kavindi. Devine really looking for those boundaries, and you know, just in the last 6 or 7 balls, she just turned it up a notch.
Nice pace. Just slides on.
Sri Lanka's bowlers will be feeling the pressure bowling to her. Shy at the stumps, but I think she would have been in.
Yeah, Devine has had a decent run in this tour. Big century in goal. It's a big appeal from Kavya Kavindi. Wonder if Maddie Green was able to get some bat on that. No, signalled leg buys by umpire Dedun Silva.
Not a bad shout, actually. That's, you know, that would that looked like it might have just saved leg stump. We've seen Kavya Kavindi get that in swing to the right-handers right through this bowling innings. And it hit Maddie Green on the back leg. Devine trying to lift that over the leg side, but unable to make contact. Not a lot of support from the rest of the fields on that appeal, but it looked very adjacent to me. It's definitely angling towards the leg side, but hit her back leg, and I don't think she was too far in front of the crease. Didn't have a long distance to travel.
Smash straight on that occasion. Nilakshi De Silva does really well, I think, to keep that down to 1. Really powerfully struck by Sophie Devine. She looks like she's really ready to tee off now.
Yeah, a lot of balls are hitting the middle of that bat. A little bit of hesitation on the second run. A better throw would have had Maddie Green in trouble, but the throw was wide from mid-wicket there. Maddie Green hesitated. Divine was herring back for the second, but Green hesitated at the non-striker's end, and if that had been even slightly close to the wickets, they would have had Maddie Green run out. Another chance goes begging for Sri Lanka. Both these batters have now had reprieves. Divine dropped at long on in single figures. Maddie Green could have been out for 9. But they do have a wicket at the end of that over. Kavindi has deserved that wicket. Maddie Green trying to lift one over mid-on, doesn't beat the fielder, and this time the catch is held.
Yeah, she deserved that, didn't she? She bowled so well, particularly to Green. She's kept the ball up. Green tries to go over that infield and not able to get the elevation she needed. Very similar dismissal to what we saw from Amelia Kerr. Kavisha Dilhari just holds on to that catch. So New Zealand now 4 wickets down after 15 overs, 104 for 4.
Four for 4 after 15 overs. Sophie Divine, the captain of White Ferns, going strong. A couple of massive sixes in the 13th over. She'll be targeting this off spinner again. So the off stump. White being called by umpire.
I think this is a very brave move to bring your right arm offie back, Maha. We all know if Sophie gets under 1, it's going to clear the boundary. Good length that, but pummel that through the ground. My goodness. That went like a tracer bullet. She's such a powerful, destructive batter, Sophie Divine. Right in the block hole, but still had enough firepower. I think Dilhari got a hand to it.
That boundary brings Sophie Divine's 3,000 T20 international runs. She's been in superb form. This brutal force of the boundary last delivery just goes to show how powerful she can be. As you correctly said, Sri Lanka fighting fire with fire, bowling an off spinner against Sophie Divine.
Yeah, Ranavira has got 1 over. So is Sugandhika Kumari, the 2 left-armers. I think one of them could have been a better option, because if you dismiss Sophie Divine, this total is going to come down. That will be the difference between 160 and 130, you know.
Just going through the record of Sophie Divine, 3,000 runs, highs of 105, average of almost 29. Strike rate 122 for a middle order. That's magnificent. And 17 half centuries, 103 sixes, Gamini.
That is some stat. 103 sixes. Georgia Plymouth. It's just very early in her career still. 15 matches, 17 the best score. You just mentioned 120 odd strike rate for Sophie, 82 for Georgia. So her intentions will be to bring her skipper back on strike as soon as possible.
The game plan for Plymouth is quite simple. Get the single, get the skipper in. The skipper will do the damage. At the moment, Sri Lanka looking down the barrel, isn't it? 112 for 4 after winning the toss, bowling first. Wanted early wickets in the power play, couldn't do it, and now the foundation has been laid by the top order. Now the middle order just go out there and enjoy themselves.
Sri Lanka will be very disappointed with a couple of chances from Sophie. One was at long on, and there was a run-out opportunity. Directed would have had her in trouble. So final ball of the 16, and skipper is on strike. Don't give her a length ball, this is going to disappear. There you are, but wide outside the off stump. That's again in the gap. Chamari Adapattu does very well. Saved a couple of runs for her team. Good cricket all round. 115 for 4 after 16. Susie Bates started with a hoik over mid-on. Case joined in with a couple of boundaries. Amelia was terrific for her 15. That was the first 6. The very next ball, this went over mid-on.
Brutal force, isn't it? You got Sophie Devine, who's a proper hitter, and you got Amelia Kerr, Susie Bates, classical batsman, good on the eye, milking those singles and boundaries. All of a sudden, the skipper comes in and just enjoying the moment, isn't it? The foundation has been laid, as I said. It's now to entertain us.
Yeah, if Sophie Devine bats till the 20th over, brace yourself for an absolute classical end of the innings batting performance. You mentioned Maha just a moment ago, amount of career runs and the experience she's got. Got long on, deep into the deep square leg. Miss hit. Fortune favours the brave. When you're in that mood, sometimes it can go your way, and bottom edge, another boundary. Minor victory for the bowler, but in terms of the scoreboard, it still keeps on moving.
Yeah, unlucky there. Carving a decent delivery, going outside the off stump. Probably the plan is to bowl outside the off stump, I think. Anything straighter, Sophie Devine can be quite brutal. But in the end, as you said, fortune favours the brave inside edge for a boundary. As you correctly said, he might get into a position where you could see a divine show coming up.
That's in the gap. Dilari gets her hand to it. Definitely saved 2 there. That was racing towards that deep extra cover boundary again. Well bowled by Kavindi. She took the pace right off and bowled outside the stumps as well. Divine is a very strong onside player. Divine, I should say. And so what she's trying to do is to try and pierce, get her to pierce that field on the offside. You've got a deep extra cover in place. And 4 inside the circle.
I think tactics-wise, Ramesh Vijay Sirivardhan, the bowling coach of Sri Lanka, and Ramesh Ratnayaka, the head coach, has got the tactics spot on to bowl outside the off stump. But the execution for an inexperienced bowler is going to be crucial, isn't it? It'll be tough work. It's never easy when batter is batting so well with brutal force and power. It's tough work.
Plima comes down the track, looking to drop kick that towards the leg side. Maha, when it comes to rules and regulations, men's and women's cricket, there is a slight change. Women's cricket, you're only allowed to have 4 fielders outside the circle when it comes to wide ball, whether it's ODI or T20 cricket. So it's a difficult task when you play against a quality batters like Sophie Devine and Susie Bates to contain them with 4 fielders outside the circle. That's why the tactics becomes even more important. Again, very well bowled, right up there, not allowing the batter to get under it.
Moral of the story, it's a batter's game. Bowlers will be tested, whether it be the power play or the death overs. And bowling with 4 fielders just outside the circle in a T20 game is tough work. I think that's where the match fees of the bowlers got to be double.
Spoken like a true bowler. Again, just a short arm jab. See, as a fielder, you'll be very worried when she middles that ball off the middle of the bat, that it just travels. Just a single to finish the 17th. 1-2-6 for 4.
Aggression is that we come to expect.
The Ashes is about to witness a new game plan.
It's a record chase for England in Test cricket.
This June, will the English strike back?
We're desperate to get it back.
Watch cricket's arch rivals, England and Australia, lock horns in the Ashes, only on Sony Sports Network.
Kavya Kavindi bowled out her 4 overs. 27 runs. I thought she bowled decently well. She bowled with the new ball. She bowled when Sophie Devine was looking in ominous form. It was tough work. It's going to be even tough work with more spinners coming in for Sri Lanka.
And also, Maha, Kavindi made a debut in the that I think second or third ODI in Gaul, and just to bowl a couple overs. As you would know, at Gaul with that wind, sometimes you can be found out. She struggled with the wind. There were a lot of wides, but today I don't think she bowled a single extra really. So her direction has been pretty good, and the coaches will be very impressed with that kind of performance. Or just a 1 wide. So hurry. She did well coming in from long on to the circle. That was Kavisha Dilhari. Looks like she's been chosen to go where the ball is going. Kavisha Dilhari, she's one of the better fielders in this lineup, and now she's in a very pivotal position here. Deep mid wicket when Sophie and Plima looking to go towards that area. Mid on, deep mid wicket, they're right in the game. Out. Well bowled that. Saw her coming down, pushed it wider. Wicket keeper did the rest.
Best way to pull down the run rates to be picking up wickets. Plymouth coming down the track, trying to work through the offside. The ball was full and need bit of stumping. Wasn't that easy, but in the end, full marks to Priyadarshini Fernando. This is no spinner bowling the death overs against 2 quality players, and she has the last laugh against Plymouth. She's gone for 3 of 6 deliveries. New Zealand 127 for 5.
So 127 for 5. We got 16 legitimate deliveries to come. Brooke Halliday, left-hander, gets her innings underway with a nice little neat sweep shot.
That's a record. Playing an 18 game strike rate again. Impressive, 93. A score of 25. That's been a good servant. Fasten your seatbelt, Gamini. This is going to be a big delivery. In the air. And over square leg. And clears the boundary as well. The square leg was in the circle. Deep mid wicket, long on with the 2 fielders. Outside the circle in the leg side. But didn't get hold of it. But still, the brutal force made sure that it carried the distance.
Yeah, so just one hand hoik. Again, we mentioned about how difficult it is for a bowler to bowl at this time of the innings when you have a very powerful batter like Sophie. 2 fielders on the leg side, on the fence. There was no deep square leg. That's why she's trying to get inside the line by moving across.
The last delivery clear. Stay away from the danger zone of Sophie Devine, which is straight. But could come back after the previous delivery went for a maximum. Down the next side, dot delivery to the 18th over. New Zealand 135 for 5.
couple of partnerships, good ones really. 43 for the first. Since then it was all 30s, but they're in a very good position, the White Ferns. Anything around 150 is a pretty good total on a surface like this. Divine on 46. Ranavira, very good figures in the context of the game. 3 overs, 6 top balls in that. 1 for 12. This is going to be one hell of a battle here. Divine versus Ranavira. As she got the distance. Oh, got hold of her. There you are. One small miss hit, and this time De Silva made no mistake. Well, her mouth would have been in her really. She dropped the previous one. Extra 20-30 runs from Divine, but that is a good scene for Sri Lanka.
Experienced bowling here by Karanavira. Not giving the pace, slowing things down. The length wasn't full. Sophie Divine going through the line, but only got the bottom of the bat. And presence of mind at long on, knew where the boundary was. And exactly what Sri Lanka needed. A wicket at this juncture. Try and restrict New Zealand under 160. Divine, a magnificent 46 of 25. New Zealand 135 for 6.
The time has come once again for the Warriors to battle in pursuit of supremacy. Dialog Schools Rugby League. The battle for
Ranavira. Oh, got another one. 2 in succession for the Sri Lankans, 2 in succession for Ranavira. Sophie Divine was caught at long on, and the ink wasn't even dry the very next ball. Hannah Rowe gives a straightforward chance back to the bowler, and Ranavira picks up a comfortable catch. Suddenly her figures look pretty good. 3 for her in her last over.
That's experienced bowling again, slowing it down. We spoke about in the previous stint. More slow you bowl, it's going to be tough work. Hannah Rowe gone without scoring. New Zealand 135 for 7.
So the last 5 minutes belong to Sri Lankans. Just shows that some of these crucial little micro moments, Maha, had they held on to that catch from Sophie Divine, just imagine this could have been a lot less than what it reads right now. 135 for 7. Molly Penfold, the new batter, right-hander, on a hat-trick. Just fence it on the leg side and gets her innings underway.
Yeah, Penfold knew what's coming in, isn't it? Hat-trick delivery, didn't take any risk. Just played down the leg side for a single. What a great over so far by Karanavira. Just what the doctor ordered. Chamriyatapattu, when she threw the ball to Ranavira, would have asked somehow bowl over without much runs, but in the end, the first couple of deliveries picked up 2 big wickets, and all of a sudden, a 160 becomes 150 for me when it comes to pass score.
And also don't forget that she's bowling from the Air Force flats end, and for the right-hander, that side of the boundary is pretty short. It's only 58 yards, I've been told, comparing to 63 towards the leg side for this left-handed Halliday. 3 on the boundary, 1 on 45. Again, a miss it. Suddenly, a boundary looks a long way away once Sophie Divine departed.
What a brilliant over. 19th over of the inning, just given away 2 runs and 2 important wickets. For Sri Lanka to win this game, Chamriyatapattu on that screen will have to score bulk of the score, isn't it? Conditions are really good. If she gets through the first 6 overs, I feel it's her day. She's due a big one. Top edge here. Oh, Chamriyatapattu for a second, extra cover. Thought she was in the game. She did the right thing. She was in the 30-yard circle. If it was over in the first 10 overs, probably she would be about 10 feet in front. And Would have been an easy dolly catch, but no damage done this time for New Zealand.
Again, just a single towards that mid-wicket area. End of a terrific over. The best over in the innings. Ranavira finished her full quarter of overs. 4 overs. 3 wickets for 15 runs. 138 for 7 with 1 over to go. S- 138 for 7. Sugandhika Kumari is going to bowl the final over. All the fielders on the offside around that ring. There's a long off, long on, deep mid and a square leg. Those are the 4 boundary riders and 1 at 45 on the leg. Punch is straight to extra cover. Penfold wanted a single. So rare drop ball in the final over of a T20 innings. Again, straight to extra cover. She's struggling to pierce that field on the offside.
At that time the timing was good, but the placement wasn't there. I think Kumari will do well to stay away from the outside. The off stump with 3 fielders in the leg side are all saving the boundary. Probably want the batter to be targeting the leg side than the offside with only 1 fielder. Is a patrolling the boundary. That time as a quicker delivery, run out chance here. Directed and goes. That's good bit of fielding. Had the presence of mind to take the glove off. And Anushka Sanjeevani was a brilliant wicket keeper.
Yeah, great work that. It's not easy to take the glove off and get to the ball in a hurry. Yeah, out by a long way. So 3 dot balls. There was plenty of pressure building up on Halliday, and Penfold did the right thing. Oh, Penfold wasn't it? Yeah. .138 for 8. It has been a very good over so far. 3 dot balls. Carson comes in. Halliday. She's on 2 of 3. The 2 left armers have been pretty good for Sri Lanka women's team. Sugandhika Kumari in a 4th over. 1 for 21. We mentioned about Ranavira, 3 for 15 off her 4. Oh, good catch. That was a very good catch. Adapattu leads by example. That was travelling. It wasn't easy. She had to do the hard yards and get under it, and so she did. It was a very good catch. So New Zealand losing few wickets at the end of the innings. And this is Brooke Halliday.
Righty.
And have a look at this for a catch.
Yeah, since the beginning of the last over, Sophie Devine got out. Ever since then, 4 wickets have fallen, and only 3 runs been given away. What a great fight back for Sri Lanka. Definitely getting back into the game. New Zealand 138 for 9.
Another top ball. Jonas got one more delivery to make something out of nothing, really. That one kept low, just a touch. Comes down the track, gets some bat on that one. Will she come back for the second? Oh, there was a fumble from Kavisha Dilhari. That allows the batters to get back for the second one. Very, very good over from Sugandhika Kumari. Just 2 runs off it, picked up a wicket. Decent figures, 2 for 23. New Zealand, after being invited to bat first in this third T20, they went at 7 runs per over exactly and finished innings at 140 for 9.
A great fight back by Sri Lanka. About the 15th over, they were looking down the barrel, and 160 was quite gettable for White Ferns. But in the end, the last 2 overs, Sri Lanka has fought back really hard and successfully just given away 5 runs, picked up 4 wickets in the last 2 overs, bringing them back into the game with New Zealand finishing at 140 for 9. And definitely going into the break, I think Sri Lanka will be the happier team.
Yeah, certainly the momentum with them, particularly the last 10 minutes or so. They came back into the game one point in time when Sophie was going haywire. Sri Lanka were looking at around 160, weren't they? But picked up wickets at regular intervals and kept it down to 140. But I think New Zealand would be a bit disappointed that they will probably feel that they are 15 to 20 runs short, do you think?
100%. Definitely. At the halfway mark of the 10th over, we spoke about it. We said 150, 160 is definitely gettable. But in the end, as I said, Sri Lanka has done wonderfully well. Batting card for New Zealand. Plenty of good stars. Gaze, Bays started really well. Amelia Kerr looked really dangerous. She's gone for 14. And Sophie Devine, a captain's 46. She was quite brutal in the end. She was caught at mid-on, and New Zealand finishing at 140 for 9. Sri Lanka conceding 11 extras.
Sri Lankan bowling card, Kavindi, pretty impressive. 4 overs, 1 for 26. Fernando picked up a wicket. Kumari couple and Dilhari picked up a couple, but easily the pick of the bowlers. Inoka Ranavira, 3 for 15.
There's the highlights of these innings. New Zealand been put into bat first. Started the proceedings with Isabella Gaze and Susie Bates bossing the power play. It's quite strong down the track. It's a beautiful shot by Susie Bates down the ground. Quite powerful to the leg side as well. Sri Lanka didn't bowl that badly, but just that the batswomen, the batters have been brilliant all around the ground, not shy to take the aerial route when it's needed, when it's required. This was the first wicket, Inoka Ranavira, the first delivery, getting rid of Isabella Gaze. Amelia Kerr and Susie Bates carried on their good form from the series. That was Amelia Kerr beautifully played through car point. That was Amelia Kerr being caught at mid-off, and then walked in Sophie Devine. Mr. Full Banga being clean bowl. That was a tough chance. Sri Lanka will be regretting that for sure. If that been held, the score would have been much more lesser. And this was first 6 of Susie Bates over mid wicket, and the very next delivery over long on. A couple of massive hits. And the easy catch at mid off. Kavindini. Brutal force. Sophie Devine, the little time she was in the middle, she did entertain us. It was a neat stumping by Anushka Sanjeevani just outside the off stump. It was a one-hand sixer over square leg, didn't time it well. And this was the dismissal of Devine, easily caught at long on, caught and bowled. The very next delivery, Inoka Ranavira. Great piece of run out by Anushka Sanjeevani in the last over. Great come fight back, as I said. Just the 5 runs been given away, and Chamariya Tapattu finished the proceedings with a brilliant catch. With Sri Lanka coming back into the game to restrict New Zealand at 140 for 9. So this is the equation needed for Sri Lanka. Need 141 runs in 20 overs and a run rate of 7.05.
Season 1 Danuma. Season 2 Charitavaliya. Season 3 Krida Viplava.
The time has come, once again, for the Warriors to battle in pursuit of supremacy. Dialog Schools Rugby League. The battle for supremacy starts in June.
Catch the excitement real time. Be up to date with it all. Let us capture your milestones. Get it sizzling hot off the turf. Hear the experts break it down. Dig deep into the nitty-gritties. Be inspired by their greatness. Relive all the scintillating action.
Aggression is what we come to expect.
The Ashes is about to witness a new game plan.
It's a record chase for England in Test cricket.
This June, will the English strike back?
We're desperate to get it back.
Watch cricket's arch rivals, England and Australia, lock horns in the Ashes, only on
Welcome back to the live coverage of the third T20I game between New Zealand women and Sri Lanka women here at Sara Oval Grounds here in Colombo. Sri Lanka now chasing 141 runs to win to make it 2-1 in this three-match series. Chamari Athapattu, the Sri Lankan captain, walking out to the middle with Harshita Samaravikrama. The White Ferns were restricted to 140. And Harshita Samaravikrama will take the strike against Eden Carson. In the first game, Eden Carson opened bowling for the White Ferns and got the first wicket of the series, first ball. That's what I think Sophie would be hoping for. And Chamari straight away, Farvis, going to the non-strikers end. Sometimes it does play in your mind, isn't it?
Question is, who are you trying to jinx, New Zealand or Sri Lanka? It definitely plays a big role, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's just like probably David Vaughan against Stuart Broad. Similarly, if there's any weakness of Chamari Athapattu, it's just when she starts with the off spinner, she's not the most fluent. But once she gets in, I think she can be a force to reckon with.
The White Ferns will be very confident in defending this 140. Easy gaze behind the stumps for the first time. Harshita Samaravikrama She'll want to improve on those stats for sure, especially the strike rate. She gets off the mark. For his 6 overs, the first 6, the power play will be very crucial for Sri Lanka in their run chase.
Yeah, definitely have to maximize it. We saw in the New Zealand innings, once the ball loses the hardness, it was not easy against spinners to time it. So I think that's where Sri Lanka got to be a bit more proactive, try and use the power play well. Much quicker. The first match I remember was similar length, but the line was much straighter, and Chamari Yatapattu played all round. It was ball. And this occasion, it was just outside the off stump.
What a way to get off your mark. That's the first 6 of Chamari Yatapattu's bat today. That's a much better way to get all those demons out of your way, isn't it, Fabriz?
Yeah, nice shot. The off spinner, the length was 4, knew that it's not going to turn. Play through the line. That will make a lot of confidence Chamari Yatapattu. As I said, Sri Lanka, to win this game, she has to bat at least 15 overs for me. This was a 6. Didn't try to hit too hard, relied on timing and placement, and was very successful doing it. Found the gap again through the car point area. Feeling chase, but they be mere spectators. A brilliant over to start the proceeding for Sri Lanka. 11 for no loss.
Ideal start for Sri Lanka, chasing 141 runs. Excellent numbers for Chamari Yatapattu. More than 2,400 runs before coming into this game. Rest of 113. I think she'll, as Farvis mentioned, from the home team's point of view, she'll be the main person if they are to chase this down. Hanaro will be sharing the new ball for the White Ferns. She's picked up 18 wickets so far in her career. Best of 3 for 18. Still 26 years of age. Hanaro starts off with a wide. Easy Gaze keeping for the very first time this tour. She'll be also under a lot of pressure. That was very close to the leg stump also.
Just a whisker away. Umpire Dedru De Silva. Give it a wide. I thought it was quite unlucky, the bowler. Down the leg side, yes, but it was very close to the leg stump. Chamari Yatapattu will enjoy this. Facing the faster bowlers. She prefers the ball comes on. And the lens of Hana Rowe will be tested as well. Samar Vikram, probably she'll be tempted to go back of the length. But that's the length Chamari Yatapattu drives. So that's where I think the bowler got to do the adjusting as soon as possible, especially in a power play.
Beautifully placed by Harshita Samaravikrama. Timing exquisite that time. That's her first boundary. Poor bowling from Hannah.
Yeah, spot on there, Damit. It's poor bowling. Harshita Samaravikrama, predominantly a front foot player. A juicy full toss through the offside, bread and butter. I think the tactics should be to pull back of the length to Samaravikrama. After that stroke, third man comes in to the circle and extra cover drops back. The other fielder patrolling the boundary is at fine leg.
Another wide by Hanaro. New Zealand in the previous game, their bowling was led by Lia Tahuhu. who picked up 4 wickets, but for this game she has been rested. When the White Ferns were batting, they got 43 runs in the power play. So if Sri Lanka, they need to chase this down, they'll need to get a good start. Beautiful roll of her wrist that time by Harshita Samaravikrama. She was in full control of the short delivery. Just a single.
Yeah, nicely played. Tried to keep along the ground. Didn't want to take the aerial route. I think Chamari Athapattu will be targeting the faster bowlers. Fields remain the same. In fact, square leg drops back and finally comes in for Chamari Athapattu.
That time Chamari, she wasn't in good control. That short ball tactic, it worked for the White Ferns against Chamari. That was in goal in the second ODI. But I think Farviz, there was good bounce and good carry of those goal services rather than the pitches which are being used here at Sara.
Yeah, absolutely. The goal pitchers had lots of bounce, true pace. But in these T20 games, I just felt that the pitchers are a bit tired. Hence, it's slower. Plenty of cricket being played at Sara Oval and all the first-class ground with cricket, non-stop cricket being played. So the groundsmen must be finding it really hard to prepare those bouncy tracks. But nevertheless, the new ball, it's quite easy to bat. This time deep square leg fielder drops it. It was hit flat hard. For a moment Chamari Athapattu's heart would have been in her mouth. On occasion, brilliant effort at square leg, but international standards, got to say, that should have been taken.
Maddie Green, the culprit that time. She was moving well. She got to the ball, but just couldn't hold on to it. Will that cost the game for the White Ferns? Chamari Athapattu, we all know what she can do. Slower delivery from Hanaro. She's mixing things up, but 2 overs completed, 26 for none. Bowling change from the pavilion end. Molly Penfold will be bowling the third over. She too played the third ODI. Didn't get much bowling this tour. She starts off with a short delivery. Chamari Athapattu taking on Molly Penfold.
I don't think Sophie Devine has got the tactics right. Eden Carson, though it was 11 runs in the over, I thought both the batters were not that comfortable facing the off spinner. The more the pace on to the bat, these two batters, especially Chamari Athapattu, enjoyed. And Penfold trying to be aggressive, and equal to the task was Chamari.
I think she got a little more extra pace than Hannah Rowe, Molly Penfold. These two tall and lanky seamers for the White Ferns. Sophie will be hoping that they can break this partnership. So far 30 runs. Very good start from Sri Lanka so far. Didn't get That time right. Molly Penfold. Wide signal by umpire Chandrika Amarasinghe.
Some exercises for the umpire. Way outside the off stump. Probably trying to bowl the slow ball. And have some swing on offer. Without the other offside.
That's a much better length and line from Penfold.
For New Zealand, hitting that in-between length is going to be crucial. Anything full or short, Chamari Atapattu, we all know the damage she could do. And in the power play, I just feel against Chamari Atapattu, more you bowl in that in-between length, not full, not short, she's not that comfortable.
She got a length right, but not the line that time. Another wide by Penfold. New Zealand coaching staff, they'll not be that pleased that she's bowling both sides of the wicket.
And also bowling extra deliveries in the power play. We just want to finish the power play as soon as possible. Try and minimize the damage.
Yeah, this is the time where Sophie, the likes of Susie Bates, needs to come in and probably have a chat with Molly Penfold. Just do the basics right. She's trying too much, I feel.
I think the nerve is getting better of her. Knowing the challenge to bowl Chamari in a power play, only two fielders outside the circle. This is where the plan got to be pretty clear on top of your mark. If you're vulnerable, you'll be found wanted. Bouncer again, aggressive. Top edge this time. Fortune favours the brave.
Yeah, that's a fourth boundary. She got 4 fours and a 6, Chamari. I just don't understand the field placings also, Farviz. If she's going to bowl the short one to Chamari Atapattu, better to have that short fine leg fielder out in the deep and then maybe get that sweeper fielder to the 30-yard circle. The field remains the same. This time she bowls it full. Another boundary. Chamari Atapattu, she's putting on a show here at Sara Oval.
The problem for New Zealand, boundaries are leaking both sides of the wicket. As you correctly said, the bounce is, if the bounce will be used, using the short fine leg fielder in the deep is a must. But this occasion, right next delivery, way outside the off stump and a slower delivery. I just feel Rowe is vulnerable when it comes to bowling in the power play against Chamari. Just not too sure, beg your pardon, Penfold. His planning is not that clear. You cannot do that in a power play.
A much better way to end the third over. Sri Lanka off to a great start, 41 for none. New Zealand White Ferns, they managed to get 43 runs in their power play. Sri Lanka in chase of 141 runs. They've already got 41 of 3 overs. So the equation is pretty simple. 17 overs remaining. They need another 100 runs. Required rate has come down to 5.8, and captain Sophie, she has brought herself on. Close. That was very close. Susie Bates at mid-wicket. Think Chamari would have been in trouble if it was a direct hit. I don't think Chamari got that head start. No, I think she was clearly in. Nevertheless, now it's the captain to captain. Yeah, the short ball tactic is clearly in their plans, Faris. Straight away when you see Chamari on strike, they tend to bowl that short one. This time Sophie, probably a slow bouncer.
Yeah, I think so. One bouncer being called for the over by the umpire, Deduno de Silva. I think when it comes to Sophie Divine, she'll probably do well to pitch it up and swing the ball. The first delivery to Harshita, we saw some swing, especially to a left hand when the ball is swinging back. The right arm fast bowler's angle is never easy if you get the right length. Maybe you don't have the express pace, but still that movement can be dangerous.
A very experienced campaigner in T20 cricket. A renowned all-rounder in women's cricket, Sophie Divine. Also, overall, this entire tour has been very good. The ODI series was very competitive. The T20s, New Zealand, they won the first two, and the third one, Sri Lanka, they've got a good start in this run chase. Overall, we've seen some very good cricket being played. Kudos to both the teams. First bilateral series for the White Ferns of Sri Lanka. They've played in Sri Lanka before in a World Cup, but this is the first bilateral series. Chamari Athapattu, this time that's a sixth boundary. She takes on the New Zealand captain.
I thought Chamari Athapattu was expecting the short delivery. She was deep in the crease, waiting for anything to be short. And Sophie Divine, as expected, as you correctly said, is probably targeting the short delivery against Chamari, and she was ready for it. And almost like a tennis forehand. Threw it on. A slow delivery outside the off stump, but missed opportunity for Chamari. Thought for a second that was going through the gap for a boundary. A successful over for Sri Lanka. 4 gone, 49 for no loss.
Season 1, Danuma. Season 2, Charitavaliya. Season 3, Krida Viplava.
Sri Lanka need 92 runs in 16 overs to win this third T20 game. And Captain Sophie has gone back to her premier off spinner, Eden Carson.
As I pointed out, I thought Sophie Divine did miss the trick, not having Eden Carson to continue the attack. Nevertheless, Sophie Divine, I just want to say what a magnificent career. I was just told by our stats guru S.L. Vasudevan that she made a debut when she was 17 in 2006, and 17 years in international career, that's massive. And the runs here she has scored, amount of wickets being taken, definitely ambassador to the game and inspiring the next generation as well.
Good 2 deliveries from Eden Carson so far, but this time she bowls a wide. That's the 50 runs up for Sri Lanka. Good partnership, a good power play for the home team. Captain Chamari on 33, Harshita on 8. This is still the 5th over in progress. Harshita needs to give the strike back to Chamari.
Yeah, he took the words out of my mouth, Damit. I was just about to say that. Need to get the single and get Chamari Athapattu on strike. If the batter is batting well, striking it well, all you need is the strike. This time, right thing was done. Probably she heard us.
Yeah, only 8 balls remaining in the power play. So Chamari, she'll know that, and she'll want to maximize the fielding restrictions. Just like that. That was hit fiercely. Susie Bates had no chance whatsoever to stop that.
Susie Bates had to move only about 5 feet. And that went like a tracer bullet. That's power for you. I think Sophie Devine of New Zealand and Chamari Atapattu. Take a look at that. Didn't have to move that much. That went like a tracer bullet, as I said. Brilliant batting. Brilliant force.
That's another boundary. Chamari Atapattu. She's taking on this White Ferns bowling attack to all parts of the ground. 5 overs completed, 59 for none.
It's been a phenomenal start for Sri Lanka so far. 5 overs done, 59 for no loss. Just 9 runs coming off the bat of Harshita Samaravikrama. All the work being done by skipper herself, Atapattu. 41 of 19.
Yeah, ST, this has been some performance. Sri Lankan openers flew out of the box. Particularly Atapattu have come out with all guns blazing, hitting in all parts, all directions. At the moment, Sophie Devine, who's got the ball in her hand, is running out of ideas. Oh, that's lucky, very lucky to get away with that one. Samaravikrama got some bat, but straight to point. That was heading towards a point boundary. I think Maruf and Damit in the previous thing mentioned that you don't want to starve your skipper from strike. ST 41 of 19. She can't be far off from the quickest 50 if she gets there. This time all along the ground towards the offside.
Actually, the fastest 50 in women's T20 is owned by Sophie Devine. 18 deliveries it took her against India back in Bangalore.
What about for a Sri Lankan?
Yeah, definitely. I think she's closing in on that. If she does get to a half century, it would be the fastest.
You're good with the numbers, ST. I'm not. Ah, lovely, lovely. Just show another quality of Chamari Atapattu. That was rising. She had to get her hands up, but opened the bottom hand and got the gap. It just shows the touch game in her. ST, have a look. That's superb. It's just what do you call a helping shot off the middle of the bat.
Yeah, and she seems to be enjoying the pace offered by the New Zealand bowlers as well. A couple of extra paces in this side today for the White Ferns.
That couldn't have been far away from wide either. Attempted slower bouncer. That's a good call from the umpire. Well below.
Yeah, as Farviz and Damit spoke about, New Zealand have gone to the short ball a lot in this inning so far. Not worked for them really. It's produced a lot of runs for Sri Lanka.
Yeah, I think we've seen that ST even in goal in the ODIs after the first match. They bowled a bit too full, I thought, and then they rectified that and they were trying to come up with some barrage of short bowling. But Atapattu is a batter who has the bat speed and she's good with horizontal bat shot. Cannot say the same with some of the others batters. That's how she started her innings in the first over 2 boundaries coming up. And Harshita joining the party. She got a couple of boundaries. This was one of the miss hits. See how this was the moment where the White Ferns had the chance to wrap up the series.
I think the intent she showed right from the start. We did see her a little cautious against Eden Carson in the second T20 after she was dismissed first ball in the first game. Tried to work the singles a lot more. Not the case today. Went after her from the word go.
If it comes to spinners, I think the most penetrative bowler is Amelia Kerr, and Sophie Devine has gone with her, trying to break this partnership. Harshita picked the wrong one out of her hand and just placing it towards that extra cover area and getting her skipper back on strike. This will be a very good contest.
Okay, thank you.
Amelia versus Atapattu. She's going to bowl round the wicket. She's got two fielders on the leg side, straightish mid wicket, long on, straightish long off, and a deep extra cover. All the fielders inside the circle apart from extra cover up behind the crease, really. Flat bats towards that extra cover fielder. Good contest this.
Yeah, Kurt, despite being just 22 years of age, is one of the more experienced bowlers in this bowling attack for the White Ferns. So a lot of responsibility on her shoulders. I wonder if we'll also see the likes of Susie Bates with the ball today. Successful in the first T20.
Yeah, what we've seen right throughout this series, Amelia relies on, oh, that's pretty harsh, wasn't it? That's inside the blue line. Join the bowlers club, I'm with them. When you're getting hammered out of all places, and then umpire gives that 50-50 decision to your opposition, it can be disheartening at times, but good use of the feet by Samara Wickrama, that previous delivery.
Yeah, she's played her part really well, I think. Although she's just got 12 runs off 17 deliveries, her role has been to just rotate the strike, and she's done that really well. Just to give Atapattu the strike, not break the momentum for Sri Lanka's batters.
Quicker delivery, brilliantly placed. Look at that for timing and placement. You cannot time a cricket ball any cleaner than that. That's a magnificent shot, and that will bring her 50. Will we see the name again? No, we won't. We won't. Ah, there it is. Yeah, you could see it coming.
Yeah, that's the fastest 50 by a Sri Lankan in women's T20Is. Her 7th half century in the format has been really the stalwart of Sri Lanka's batting. That's the end of the 7th over. Sri Lanka 72 for no loss. Fran Jonas into the attack, and straight away Harshita Samaravikrama able to find the single of the first delivery of the over.
This will be interesting too. Left arm orthodox to left hand Atapattu. This was how she brought up a 50. What a magnificent knock. 200 strike rate, 25 balls it took. Plenty of shots for the highlight package. That's pretty much like the highlight, those 25 deliveries. Quicker delivery. You can guarantee that she's not going to flight that ball. Jonas, she's going to just dart in towards that off stump. But if Atapattu gets... Remember, to that scoreboard side, they stayed 63 yards and probably the longest part of the boundary.
Yeah, Atapattu's had an interesting series, hasn't she? 2 centuries, half century here, 2 ducks, and a horrible run out in the previous game. I think she wouldn't mind if the New Zealanders visited a little more often. Got plenty of runs in this series.
Very well played. Very good presence of mind. There was wit and there was speed. She's showing some maturity here, Samara Wickrama. When you have your skipper going haywire from the other end, You need to have a good head on your shoulders and try and be part of it. And this is a magnificent shot. Good awareness, yep.
Yeah, Samara Vikrama definitely one for the future. As you said, showing so much maturity, not getting stuck on one end. I think that's been the problem for Sri Lanka, particularly as we saw in the first two T20s. Just not able to keep the strike rotating. Not the case today. Obviously, a lot of confidence coming from the fact that Athapattu is striking it well.
She's got 3 boundaries in her 17 as well. So it's not only the skipper is scoring all the boundaries. She has done her part. 12 fours and 1 6 already. Outside edge. Another good over. Boundary in that one. 78 after 8. And have a look at some of these shots from Athapattu's bat. That's a first. Got off her innings underway with a massive 6. That wasn't a good shot. That was a good shot as well. The only blemish in the innings. A lot of horizontal bat shots and a lot of shots going through the line as well. That went like 100 miles per hour. Equally on the front foot and back foot. So it's a full package really from Athapattu. Oh, well. Few mistakes are starting to creep into these White Ferns game here.
Hannah Rowe sweeping on the offside. That was really poor fielding. I think we saw this in the first and the third ODIs as well. Just when Sri Lanka started getting going, New Zealand in the field have not been great. Really sloppy on that occasion. All not getting up.
As you can see, Athapattu is indicating that that ball is going away from her. We have seen right throughout this series, Amelia Kerr's stop ball has been the wrong one. Very well bowled. Just touch slower in the air. She was looking to go straight over the bowler's head.
Yeah, this is definitely the battle to watch. Amelia Kerr versus Chamari Athapattu. As you rightly mentioned, Kerr does bowl a lot of wrong uns. Doesn't really go for the leg spinner that much. So it's not like the ball is turning into Athapattu for her to take advantage and hit it through mid-wicket.
This is good. See how she just took a bit of time just to take her out of it and out of the strike and then say skip. We have plenty of time.
This time called a wide. That's the 11th wide for the New Zealanders in this innings. One of them running away to the boundary, so it hasn't been a disciplined performance by the visitors so far.
Rocks back. And again, powerful hit towards long on. .84 after, well, we have 1 ball short on the 9th. This has been a commanding performance by these two openers. ST, we have seen twice before in this tour so far, Athapattu taking the White Ferns on and very well batted. Magnificent. Used her feet, nowhere close to the delivery, covered the line with her front and the back foot, played with a dead weight and picked up a single. 85 for 9. 85 for no loss after 9.
Partnership of 85 of 54 deliveries between this pair, Harshita Samaravikrama and Chamari Athapattu. 18 of those coming off Samaravikrama's bat. But I think this is exactly the type of thing Sri Lanka would have wanted from her. hasn't got stuck at one end, managed to change the strike over, and now also has found the boundaries when Sri Lanka needed her to.
Yeah, it's not over up until it's over, ST. I think even from here onwards, Athapattu still needs to take the responsibility. That's in the gap. Everything she touches turns into goal in this innings. That took the outside part of the bat, but still, because of the speed on the ball, that is the advantage when you have possessed that much of bat speed as a player. Even when you get a little thin edge, it just travels. And this time, for Athapattu's luck, that's in the gap.
Finds the fielder in the deep on that occasion. Sri Lanka needing just 5 runs and over now. He's already got that in the first three deliveries of this over.
See the bottom of your screen, it's 14 fours and a 6, 15 boundaries in the first 10 overs. Very good batting. Not only the maturity, ST, she's showing some technique in order to play on a surface like this. When it's short, she rocks back. When it's forward, she presents the full face of the bat. Sara Wickrem, obviously she doesn't have the power that the skipper has. Well, that could be a close to a no ball. But the leg umpire says, no, it's below the line, but that disappeared off to the offside. Somebody reckons it's a no ball. Again, it's not the easiest of balls to put away. Those waist-high full tosses. From time and time again, I'm mentioning that the bat speed she has, she can hit to all paths, really. Final ball, and this time towards point. Rare dot ball. Athapattu 36 deliveries, 65. Sri Lanka, after 10 overs, 96 for no loss.
Aggression is that we come to expect.
The Ashes is about to witness a new game plan.
It's a record chase for England in Test cricket.
This June, will the English strike back?
We're desperate to get it back.
Watch cricket's arch rivals, England and Australia, lock horns in the Ashes, only on Sony Sports Network.
Fearless, honestly born from the flames that rise up. Pushing on.
15-year-old Coco has been her idol.
In my mind,
This is the favorite.
Murray has done it.
Incredible.
embrace a new dawn.
Season 1 දැනුම Season 2 චරිතාවලිය Season 3 ක්‍රීඩා විප්ලව
96 for none, Sri Lanka. They still need only 45 runs to win this game. Chamari Athapattu, what a brilliant knock. 65 unbeaten of just 36 deliveries. Harshita Samarawickrama, she has done her job, playing the second fiddle. 11 extras, I think 11 wides, and that's going to be a concern for the White Ferns. And the bowlers, all the bowlers have been taken apart by Chamari Athapattu, especially the seamers, Hanaro, Muli, Penfold.
Yeah, I mean, when someone's taking you apart the way that Athapattu is at the moment, puts a lot of pressure back on the bowlers, and perhaps some of that 11 wides count is a reflection of that. The margin of error to her is so small when she's in these kinds of moods. And they've been bruised twice already on this tour. You know, a couple of fantastic hundreds for Atapattu in goal, and you know there is certainly a fear factor at the moment in terms of the way that bowlers must bowl to her. Hannah Rowe into her third over, starts off with another wide.
Yeah, that's a 12th wide in this innings. Very poor discipline from the White Ferns in this innings. They've dropped Chamari once. Sri Lanka need another 44 runs to win. Chamari, she needs only 35 to get to her second 100. Harshita Samarawickrama joining the party. She bowled the exact same full toss when she was bowling from the other end in her first over. She does the same mistake once again. Harshita Samarawickrama, she'll do this all day long if you bowl full tosses like that. 100 up for Sri Lanka. This has been a fantastic response by the home team.
Yeah, dominant batting display so far, driven of course by Chamari Atapattu's hitting. Harshita Samarawickrama hasn't been so slow either, you know, she's almost at a run a ball, 25 off 26 deliveries now. But when someone is batting when the hitting is as brutal at the other end, I guess it makes her job a little bit easier as well. But she's turned the strike over at the right times and let Atapattu do her thing. And a row under a bit of pressure here. 21 she's given away off the first legitimate 8 balls of her T20 spell in this match.
Interesting field for Chamari Atapattu. She has 3 fielders out in the deep on the onside. Deep fine leg, deep square leg and a deep mid wicket. That's sensible batting from the Sri Lankan captain. No need to take any further risk. The required run rate is just 4 runs per over. They can do it easily with singles.
Yeah, in an earlier conversation we talked about how New Zealand wanted to, perhaps were thinking about Chamari Atapattu proofing their innings. I mean, that's the kind of form she's in, that you need to get a score beyond Sri Lanka, even if Atapattu is batting as she is. But they didn't quite manage. Sri Lanka bowled reasonably well, particularly through the first 10, 12 overs, and then closed out the innings nicely as well. This first wicket partnership now worth 103 off just 64 deliveries.
I think out of both the left-handers, Harshita, she looks far more comfortable for the short delivery than Chamari. She's in well control, and the White Ferns, they badly need to break this partnership if they are to stand a chance.
Yeah, the putter was dropped on 11 at deep square leg boundary by Maddie Green early in the innings.
Yeah, they're going to do it in singles now. 11 overs completed, 105. This partnership, we've seen 16 fours and 1 6 by these two left-hand batters. Chamari Atapattu starts off with a 6, and since then it has all been fours.
Yeah, they've tried going short at her. This is the dropped catch there. Maddie Green, one of New Zealand's better fielders, just letting that one go at the end. It wasn't an easy catch, but one that you would expect her to take on most days. And Atapattu so strong, squared the wicket. And they've done most of the work for Sri Lanka here. Single to start that over, the 12th of the innings.
Eden Carson being the only off spinner today, they are not playing Lee Kasparek, they'll want her to somehow get this first wicket.
Yeah, the one bowler who's really troubled Athapattu, Athapattu didn't make it out of the power play in both the first matches, and Carson got her wicket first ball in the first game, troubled her, bowled a few dot balls at her in the second match, and created a run out through pressure. But perhaps Athapattu's now got her eye in a little bit too much. Let's see, this could be an interesting battle. Just drilled out towards cover. But yeah, New Zealand, in trying a few new bowlers, they made 3 changes for this match. They've given the rest of their squad a bit of a run, and we see Athapattu absolutely mauling that one down the ground. That is a fantastic shot, and the second 6 of her innings. She moved to 74 off that 41st ball that she faced. Just stayed in her crease, and the ball was there for her to absolutely hammer down the ground.
And I still feel that she's taking the revenge of Carson for what she did in the first game. She's not taking on the other bowlers over the ropes. Carson being hammered for 2 sixes in this game. Chamari Athapattu. Now the big question would be, can she get to her second 100 in T20 internationals?
Yeah, she doesn't have a lot of runs to play with. I think that's her big problem, is that Sri Lanka only need 27 and she's got 25 more to get to that second 100. And I don't think the instructions to Harshita Samaravikrama are to play a few balls out. Sri Lanka don't want to be taking those kinds of chances at this stage. That's the end of the 12th over. Sri Lanka 115 for no loss.
Aggression is that we come to expect.
The Ashes is about to witness a new game plan.
It's a record chase for England in Test cricket.
This June, will the English strike back?
We're desperate to get it back.
Watch cricket's arch rivals, England and Australia, lock horns in the Ashes, only on Sony Sports Network.
"26 runs to get 48 balls remaining. Sri Lanka.
Amelia Kerr into her third over here.
Yeah, right.
Quick single to mid-on.
I think the home team, Andrew, if they get to this winning target, they'll be quite pleased with their effort in the whole tour. They've won then 3 games.
Yeah, it's been a good tour from Sri Lanka's perspective. They'd never beaten New Zealand in any match before this tour. Athapattu goes again. It's in the air for a little while, but it's safe enough. It lands well in front of that point fielder. They get a single out to the deep. But yeah, they hadn't won in any match, and to come and win a series, they would have liked to be perhaps more competitive in the first 2 T20s. Their batting really let them down in those matches. But cruising towards what seems like it will become a dominant victory here, and to win half the matches on tour, I think Sri Lanka would definitely have taken that at the start of New Zealand's visit.
Yeah, irrespective that this game is a dead rubber, they're playing against a quality White Ferns team. They managed to keep them to 140, and Athapattu, she's bossing the game now. You speak of quality players: Susie Bates, Sophie Devine, Melly Kerr, all T20 stars in all of the franchise leagues in women's cricket. For Sri Lanka, it's only been Chamari Athapattu.
Yeah, I guess the worry for New Zealand would probably be, while their batting has done reasonably well, their bowling has looked a bit fragile at times, particularly when Chamari Athapattu was at the crease. Another wide for New Zealand. They're up to about 13 wides now. Yes, 13 wides. Not been a disciplined bowling performance from them. Yeah, perhaps they'll reflect that they need a few more kind of wicket-taking options with the ball in these kinds of conditions at the end of this tour. As Harshita Samarakrama squeezes one out behind point, splits the gap and picks up another boundary. I think Chamari Athapathu's hopes of getting a 100 are about done with that. Sri Lanka 124 for none after 13 overs. Yeah, 124 Sri Lanka score and 124 Sri Lanka's partnership, their opening partnership, which is the highest for any wicket for Sri Lanka in T20 internationals, beating 104, which Harshita Samarakrama was also involved in with Nilakshi de Silva on that occasion, earlier in the World Cup this year. There's Brooke Halliday into bowl with her cutters, and Athapathu swings her out to deep square leg for a single to start.
Just 16 runs needed for the home team. Yeah, excellent partnership. I think Harshita Samarakrama, as you said earlier, Andrew, she's also had scored a runner ball. Brooke Halliday, she has picked up only one wicket in T20 cricket. That's a brilliant effort. She certainly saved a couple of runs. I think that's Eden Carson. Halliday, wrong-footed bowler.
Yeah, I don't see so many of those anymore. Used to be much more common in cricket.
Chamari now doing it in singles. She's in no rush whatsoever. She, I think, intends to be at the crease when they are scoring the winning runs. That will be a great achievement if they can win this without losing a wicket.
Yeah, these two just settling into a pattern of singles here. Just waiting for the really bad deliveries to put away. They've done all the hard work. The required rate is down at 2.05. It's just cruising towards that target.
Yeah, also it's been a pleasure for us also at the Papare.com, bringing all these pictures from this White Ferns tour of Sri Lanka. 3 ODIs, 3 T20s. We've seen some very good cricket by the Sri Lankan team and the New Zealand team. They've played it in great spirits. 14 overs completed, 130 for none Sri Lanka. Another decent turnout of Sri Lankan crowds here in Sara Oval. Molly Penfold, she'll be bowling her second over. She struggled with accuracy in the first one. Gave away 3 boundaries to Chamari. This time she'll be bowling to Harshita. She gets another boundary. And she's in very good control of that short delivery. Harshita.
Yeah, New Zealand have tried that short one to both these batters. Both have looked fairly comfortable, apart from that one drop catch at deep square leg off Chamari Athapattu's bat. But Harshita Samarawickrama onto that one very quickly. Was waiting for it on the back foot by the time it arrived. And there's vast open spaces in that deep mid-wicket region. Another wide ball. Penfold this time, adding to that extras tally for New Zealand. That's almost off the pitch, very wide from her.
Yeah, from a New Zealand point of view, I think they would have missed the experience of Lia Tahu. She was rested for this dead rubber, but nevertheless, the youngsters, Hanaro, Melly, Penfold, they've been taken apart just like that. Harshita Samarawickrama, she gets another boundary. She moves to 45.
Just so strong on that pull shot, isn't she? Again, very quick to judge the length. Poor line from Penfold, you have to say. Did deserve to be put away, but Harshita Samarawickrama did so in pretty dominant style. Five short of a half century, but only 2 runs to get to complete this victory. Sri Lanka knocking on the door of a 10-wicket win. And they do so with another leg side shot, this time off a full delivery. Harshita Samarawickrama whips that over the leg side infield and gets a boundary down to deep mid-wicket. And that's it. That's Sri Lanka complete their first ever 10-wicket victory in T20 international cricket. An absolutely dominant performance. And although this was a dead rubber, they've made their mark on this T20I series. It's been a tour in which both teams have won 3 matches. Sri Lanka took the ODIs 2-1. New Zealand won the T20s 2-1. 3 wins each, split right down the middle. But it is a series dominated by that woman on screen, Chamari Athapattu, who was spectacular in the ODIs, 200s in that series, and 80 in this one off just 47 deliveries, 80 not out. She did get a chance early on, dropped for 11 on the deep square leg fence, but since then she's been unstoppable, unfurling a full array of shots, some big sixes down the ground off the spinners, and some strong square shots as you generally expect from Athapattu.
And also, Andrew, this series has been playing good spirit right throughout from the very first game. I think White Ferns will be quite happy with the experience they gained. Most of the players travelled to Sri Lanka for the very first time. There is the player of the moment, Athapattu.
Yeah, we'll have been so disappointed to be out early in the 2 previous ODIs. You saw her absolutely furious at the run out in the second in the previous T20s, and she was absolutely furious at being run out in the second match. But she's very much made up for it in this game. Come back and showed that she can play that kind of cricket in this format too.
And not to forget, Andrew, I think Harshita Samarawickrama, obviously her senior partner, will probably get all the accolades, but she's been flying under the radar. That's one of the very best batting performances I've seen from her. It's a career best 49, very unlucky to miss out on a well-deserved half century. There were some very clean shots from her bat, equally on the off and on side. Coaching staff will be very happy. This is Samarawickrama's winning hit over mid-wicket. She too got used to this wicket very quickly and timed the ball. And the placement was immaculate at times. dominating partnership sees Sri Lanka winning by 10 wickets.
Yeah, she'd made some contributions in previous matches, and that first T20 in particular was involved in a good partnership through the middle overs, but opening for the first time in this series, she's really made her mark, and this 143-run partnership absolutely smashing the previous best partnership that Sri Lanka have ever had in T20Is.
So there you go. Sri Lanka chasing 141 to win. In came the openers and came out with all guns blazing. Harshita Samaravikrama, like I mentioned just at a moment ago, 49 of 40, easily the best batting performance in her career. Chamari Athapattu did Chamari Athapattu things. 80 of 47. What a destructive innings that was. 14.3 overs, 143 for no loss. New Zealand with 14 wides, that's not going to please them.
Yeah, New Zealand playing a couple of bowlers that didn't play in the first two T20s and the live T20s. Penfold coming in, Hannah Rowe coming in, replacing the likes of Leah Tahuhu, the experienced Leah Tahuhu, and Leigh Kasparek, but unable to really make a mark in this match. A few analyses there that they probably wouldn't want to look at too much. Penfold going for 28 runs off just 9 balls, and Hannah Rowe 24 runs off the 2 overs. But it's difficult when you've got a player of Athapattu's quality playing at home on tracks that she's familiar with. And nothing in the wickets column. And here's that innings once again. Here's Sri Lanka's batting. Athapattu started dominating pretty early on.
Yeah, 14.3 overs, pretty much you can make a case for every delivery as a highlight package. That was the chance that New Zealand had. There were a couple of miss hits, particularly off the short ones, but anything that was pitched up on the off and on the on side was dispatched with some authority. And one area New Zealand will be very disappointed in this series in particular is their fielding, and that was terrific shot through the gap of point and short third. Got to a 50 with that flick. Samaravikrama shows her deft touch.
Yeah, shots all around the wicket for Athapattu and Samaravikrama. Samaravikrama especially strong on that leg side, but Athapattu getting some big offside shots as well. It really has been a treat watching her bat right through the course of this tour. Probably some of the best innings that she played. That second ODI, the 100 in the second ODI in particular, was a spectacular knock.
That was the winning hit. End of the day, it has been a commanding batting performance by these two openers. Sri Lanka, for the very first time, beating the White Ferns in a T20 format. Add to that, and they win by 10 wickets. New Zealand skipper Sophie Devine losing the toss for the first time too, Andrew, today, and she was asked to bat first. Her 46 of 25 was the difference between 120 and 140, which they got at the end. Sri Lanka, the two openers, 80 and 49 apiece, got there with plenty of overs to spare. Actually, when you look at it, Andrew, if it was like the women's Ashes, where you get points for all types of formats, the 4-day match, the T20s and the 50 over, New Zealand and Sri Lanka started with a 6-match series. At the end, it was short, 3 matches apiece.
Yeah, I wonder if you can make a case, and I'm sure people, New Zealand viewers or the New Zealand team wouldn't particularly enjoy this idea, but if you could make a case that the ODIs are worth more than the T20s, which would suggest that in the overall tour, Sri Lanka come away with the plaudits. But split down the middle, and the ODI series. I think what New Zealand did in the ODI series was they kept the series alive in the second match by coming back to win that game, with Sri Lanka going on to clinch the third, whereas this one was a dead rubber match, this third T20.
It was a beautiful morning here in Colombo, and the spectators who were down here to watch were treated with some kind of performance. This has been the series for the first time, Sri Lanka winning against New Zealand in a ODI format as well as the T20 format. New Zealand going down in the first one, came back to win quite comprehensively in that second with 116 runs. Atapattu again scoring 100 in the third, got there by 8 wickets. Don't forget, both those games Sri Lanka won were rain-shortened games. And then the T20 matches started in Colombo at the P. Sara Oval. New Zealand chasing on both occasions, winning the first two by 5 wickets and 8 wickets respectively. And then different stories today. New Zealand batted first and Sri Lanka were asked to chase 141 for a consolation victory. And didn't they get there in style? Won by 10 wickets.
Yeah, it's not been a series or a tour that's had too many close matches, even though the teams were reasonably evenly matched in the end. We didn't see any matches go down to the wire, but it's been an absorbing one nonetheless.
There you are, right at the top, Harshita Samaravikrama. Incidentally, she's been involved in the three highest partnerships in Sri Lankan history, hasn't she? Atapattu 143 for the first wicket against New Zealand at the P. Sara Oval. Then in Cape Town, Harshita Samaravikrama and Nilaksi De Silva put on 104 against Bangladesh for the fourth wicket. That's the record they overhauled today. And then at SSE, very recently, Samaravikrama and De Silva put on 102 against Bangladesh. Those are the only 3 century partnerships for the Sri Lankan girls, and today was a magnificent one, 143, the highest. So we are going to have a short break. On the other side of it, we will have the presentation.
Season 1, Danuma. Season 2, Charitavaliya. Season 3, Krida Viplava.
The time has come once again for the Warriors to battle in pursuit of supremacy. Dialog Schools Rugby League. The battle for supremacy starts in June.
Catch the excitement real time. Be up to date with it all. Let us capture your milestones. Get it sizzling hot off the turf. Hear the experts break it down. Dig deep into the nitty-gritties. Be inspired by their greatness. Relive all the scintillating action.
Aggression is that we come to expect.
The Ashes is about to witness a new game plan.
It's a record chase for England in Test cricket.
This June, will the English strike back?
We're desperate to get it back.
Watch cricket's arch rivals, England and Australia, lock horns in the Ashes, only on Sony Sports Network.
Season 1 දැනුම Season 2 චරිතාවලිය Season 3 ක්‍රීඩා විප්ලව
The time has come once again for the Warriors to battle in pursuit of supremacy. Dialog Schools Rugby League. The battle for supremacy starts in June.
Catch the excitement real time. Be up to date with it all. Let us capture your milestones. Get it sizzling hot off the turf. Hear the experts break it down. Dig deep into the nitty-gritties. Be inspired by their greatness. Relive all the scintillating action.
Fearless, constantly born from the flames that rise up. Pushing on.
15-year-old Coco has beaten her idol.
In my mind,
Ori has done it. Incredible.
embrace a new dawn.
Aggression is that we come to expect.
The Ashes is about to witness a new game plan.
It's a record chase for England in Test cricket.
This June, will the English strike back?
We're desperate to get it back.
Watch cricket's arch rivals, England and Australia, lock horns in the Ashes, only on Sony Sports Network.
Season 1 දැනුම Season 2 චරිතාවලිය Season 3 ක්‍රීඩා විප්ලව
The time has come once again for the Warriors to battle in pursuit of supremacy. Dialog Schools Rugby League. The battle for supremacy starts in June.
Catch the excitement real time. Be up to date with it all. Let us capture your milestones. Get it sizzling hot off the turf. Hear the experts break it down. Dig deep into the nitty-gritties. Be inspired by their greatness. Relive all the scintillating action.
Fearless, honestly born from the flames that rise up. Pushing on.
15-year-old Coco has beaten her idol.
In my mind, I'm always
Ari has done it. Incredible.
embrace a new dawn.
Aggression is that we come to expect.
The Ashes is about to witness a new game plan.
It's a record chase for England in Test cricket.
This June, will the English strike back?
We're desperate to get it back.
Watch cricket's arch rivals, England and Australia, lock horns in the Ashes, only on Sony Sports Network.
Season 1 දැනුම Season 2 චරිතාවලිය Season 3 ක්‍රීඩා විප්ලව
The time has come once again for the Warriors to battle in pursuit of supremacy. Dialog Schools Rugby League. The battle for supremacy starts in June.
Catch the excitement real time. Be up to date with it all. Let us capture your milestones. Get it sizzling hot off the turf. Hear the experts break it down. Dig deep into the nitty-gritties. Be inspired by their greatness. Relive all the scintillating action.
Welcome back to the coverage of this very first bilateral series between New Zealand, White Ferns versus Sri Lanka. And just a few minutes ago, we concluded the third ODI. An intriguing contest it was. Sri Lanka taking the third match comprehensively by 10 wickets. And right now, we'll go down there and join Damit Veerasinghe for the post-match presentation.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the post-match presentation of this third T20 game between Sri Lanka and New Zealand. First of all, I would like to appreciate all the efforts from both these teams for playing a successful tour. So I would like to ask everyone to appreciate the two teams, New Zealand and Sri Lanka. Let's move forward for the awards. The first award for today, Player of the Match for her wonderful innings, Chamari Athapattu, the captain of Sri Lanka. I would like to invite Mr. Kitsiri De Silva, member of the Sri Lanka Cricket Executive Committee, to give away the award. Chamari, first of all, congratulations for that win. How pleased are you to get this win today?
Actually, this win, must-win game for us, especially because the ranking. So today, my team done really good job. Especially, I can mention bowling department. They bowl really good. So finally, we won. That's really good for us.
Especially your innings, how much of support did you get from Harshita Samarawickrama?
She's a very young girl and one of upcoming cricketer. She done really good job today, and she support a lot for me. So I will thank to her and my teammates and everyone. Especially I can mention Sri Lanka cricket media and the spectators. They all support a lot, and I think New Zealand team, I think they will enjoy a lot in Sri Lanka. Hopefully we can meet again.
Thank you very much, Chamari.
Thank you.
So the next award would be the Player of the Series award for scoring 133 runs through 3 games. The Player of the Series, Susie Bates of New Zealand. Susie, congratulations. How do you feel about this entire tour?
Yeah, a little bit bittersweet. I thought, the one days was disappointing, but Chamari played outstanding and put us under pressure, and we've probably been a little bit under par with the bat today. So yeah, it's hard to end like that, but I think all in all we've loved our time in Sri Lanka. We've learned a lot about playing in these conditions. We've seen how strong Sri Lanka are in the field and with the ball, and it's been a real test for us, and we know we've got lots of cricket coming up in these conditions, so as long as we learn from it, we'll take all the positives.
Personally, how pleased are you with your batting performances?
Today not so pleased. You always want to put your team in winning positions, but look, it's nice to score some runs in the first 2 games, get us across the line, and it's nice to be out in the middle and contributing, but you always want more.
Thank you, Susie. Wish you all the very best.
Thank you very much.
Next, I would like to ask the White Ferns skipper, Sophie. Firstly, we'll speak a few words and then we'll get to the main award. Sophie, you all won the series, made a few changes to your team. Where did New Zealand go wrong today?
Well, we didn't score enough runs, did we? I think, as Sue's mentioned, I think the platform was there to maybe score another 150, 160, but the way that Chamari batted again today took the game away from us.
The entire tour, New Zealand won 3 games, Sri Lanka won 3 games. New Zealand won the T20 series, Sri Lanka won the ODI series. How happy are you with the entire tour?
Yeah, again, probably just echoing Suze's words, probably a bit bittersweet, obviously, with the one days. Really disappointing to go down to that series, and we were completely outplayed by some pretty fantastic batting. So, look, we've got plenty to take home with us. It's been an awesome experience. I think 13 of the 15 players haven't been here before, so we'll certainly take a lot of learnings home and know that we've got a lot of work to do.
Thank you, Sophie, and thank you for visiting Sri Lanka. Now, I would like to ask Mr. Kirti De Silva, the executive committee member from Sri Lanka Cricket, to give away the T20I series winner to New Zealand, and I would like to ask the team members to come forward for a team photograph. That's it from the post-match presentation.
And joined by the teammates. It's been an intriguing series, this inaugural bilateral series between these two countries, and New Zealand winning the T20s 2-1. And Sri Lankans will be quite happy to win the ODIs 2-1, and the 6-match series was shot 3 apiece. This is what happened in that last game, today's game. New Zealand, for the first time, losing the toss, invited to bat first by Chamariyatapattu, 140 for 9, Divine 46 of 25, and Susie Bates yet again making a contribution. Those three names, Amelia Kerr, those three batters have dominated this series. And then Sri Lanka chasing 141 to win. They got there with 14.3 overs. Thanks to a swashbuckling 80 from Chamariyatapattu and a magnificent 49 or 40 from Harshita Samaravikrama, Sri Lanka won by 10 wickets. Sri Lanka came into this series yet to taste victory against New Zealand in ODIs as well as T20s, and both dreams come true today. 13th game between these two countries. Sri Lanka tasted victory for the very first time, the first 12 been won by white firms. Just to cap off what have happened in this series, the very first ODI rain-shortened match, Sri Lanka winning by 9 wickets. Second match, Sophie Divine scored a magnificent 100, and Amelia Kerr also another centurion, won by 160 runs. Sri Lanka winning the rain-shortened third ODI by 8 wickets. The first two T20s, New Zealand won by 5 and 8 wickets respectively. And today, quite comprehensively, Sri Lanka beat the White Ferns by 10 wickets. It has been a fascinating series. And don't forget, plenty of cricket coming your way as far as Sri Lanka cricket is concerned. The Emerging Asia Cup. And then Pakistan-Sri Lanka first test will take place down the Red Goal. As far as the Papare.com is concerned, plenty of school rugby coming your way this weekend. Up until we meet again, from all of us, the Papare.com powered by Dialog, the crew, will say goodbye and happy days for all of you.
I came from the mud. There's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree. There's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law. catch me howling at the moon.